PVC, Planning, Research and Extension, to give us the welcoming remarks.
Good morning, everybody. We are sorry we are a bit late because people have been waiting for rain, but I think when it rains, they overslept. But we are starting, and we are going to see how we can recover the time. So we just want to welcome you for this morning session. As you have been told by the organizers, that we'll have one keynote address from Professor Miriam Kinyua, and Professor Otunga is not around. And after that, we'll go straight to these two panel discussions. The first one will be supporting commercialization of research among young innovators. We'll have a team of presenters. Some of them have arrived, some are still on the way. And then after that, we'll have the second session, fostering strategic partnerships in the current dispensation. So those should take us up to lunchtime. And so we have a packed morning, and these activities, or rather these panel discussions and the presentation that's going to be made by Professor Kinyua are very important for us as an institution. So we want to welcome you to feel at home, and please stay in so that we can be able to benefit from this. We rarely get these opportunities to share this knowledge, and the purpose of the conference is to share the knowledge, and not only the knowledge of doing research, but the knowledge of what goes on with the research, and I think that is the purpose of today. You are doing research, yes, but after doing the research, so what? How can research benefit you? I remember yesterday, the keynote speaker was talking about money, and money is very important. Good morning. Money is very important. Even in this university, if you see those people driving big vehicles, he's either a businessman or a researcher. Check out the vehicle. I mean, the vehicle Ochudo is driving. The real vehicle, leave alone the other ones that she comes to hide his identity, is through research. Because research will give you that money. It'll give you the papers for promotion. It'll give you the papers for international, to be known internationally. And it is very important that now that we have the issue of commercialization, the issue of innovations and whatnot, and so many of us are doing very good research. That is what we want to focus on today, by the end of today, to see, once you've done the research, so what? If there is something that can be commercialized, how do we go about that? I think that is what I can say as we start. And please stay in at the end of the session before we go for our discussion. We go for the afternoon session. We really would like all of you to register with those bodies that we talked about yesterday. We would like all of you to register with the ResearchGate, to register with you have academia, LinkedIn, whatever. I think we have about 4 or 5, and the registration is free of charge. Just go to the internet, register free of charge, and make sure you use your institutional address. That is a big premium for you and for us. So we'll talk about that maybe before we go for the break. But for now, that's what I can say, and feel much welcome for today's session. Madam Director, Karibu, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kinyua.
guess we can relax kidogo so that we don't get anxious. Today is a cold day. It's been very hot. Then this week it has decided to be cold. So if you didn't come ready to be warm, the best way is to exercise. And you know, when we used to be in nursery and primary, the teacher would come and say, rub your hands together. Then rub, 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 rub. I am Nisaindi. Hey, rub, 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 rub. And then you actually feel it's getting warm. True? Yeah, that is science. Not yet technology, but at least it is it's science. And as it comes. Yeah. I normally tell people that I was born in Eastern Kenya. So I come from Eastern Kenya. And then I tell people that I was in Gishu. So that is, which one now is this? Is it Central Rift or is it Southern Rift? Or was in Gishu, is it? Really? It's in North Rift. South Rift ends at Kajiado. And Central Rift. Oh, so I come from, okay, so I come from Eastern. I mean, I was born in Eastern. Then I live in Central Rift, and I work not in the North Rift. So I am a child of many places, and it feels good because I can sample all those places. And I guess also it helps you to grow. Because if you just stay with your mother, you think she's the only one who knows how to cook. But now that I'm exposed to the different places, when I get tired of where I was born, then I go to where I live. When I get tired of where I live, then I go to where I work. When I get tired of where I work, I go and visit friends. So I am quite well exposed, and I guess that helps me. So DVC, I think it also charges you to want to explore, and it touches the part of DNA that likes doing research. So I guess that's why I compete with Prof. Ochuodo. Is mine bigger? Mine is bigger. Maybe it's because I do business. You know, you make me laugh to say that it's either business or research. Are you sure? There's no other? Politics. Kwanza, politics is the worst. I mean, that one you even just drive it, whether you earn it or not. At least in research and business, you earn. In politics, you just get it. So, anyways, that was just a warm-up as they were working on the technology. And for those ones who may not know me, my name is Miriam Kinyua, and I'm at the School of Agriculture at this university. We happen to be among those first ones who started the university. We may not have started the college or the campus, but at least when the university began, we are among the pioneers. So this thing hasn't worked yet. Yeah, but you see, it is not yet in slideshow, because it's showing, it's still not on slideshow, unless, okay. Where? Where? Help me. You see, it is not on slideshow. You see, it's not coming. It's not even moving. Yeah, it's escape. It's not escaping. Yeah, now go to slideshow. I think we are fine. Let's see. Okay, I'm not Thomas, but still I need to confirm that it is working. I was given the topic on technology. I was asked to talk about technology, and I decided to create my topic to be application of technology in management of modern challenges, because we live in these modern times, and therefore we need to discuss or to talk about the modern challenges and how to use technology for that. And when I was asked to talk about technology, at first I thought I knew what technology was, but I just decided, let me look it up in the biology dictionary, just to make sure that I'm okay. And I'm sure many of you might be thinking that you know what technology is, but when I looked it up, there were a few choices, and this is the choice that I took, that it is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. So if it is not for practical purposes, then it is not technology. If it is not scientific knowledge, then it is not technology, it is something else. So then I also wanted to look at what are modern challenges. You see, for DVC, his only challenge is a big car. And for a child who hasn't eaten, what's the challenge? Food, isn't it? And there was once a person said that the greatest challenge that they had was when they opened the fridge and didn't find a cold drink. That was the greatest challenge that they got. You can imagine. Someone else hasn't seen a fridge. Someone else, if they even just got a drink that they can share with their siblings, that would be fine. So challenges are variable as the variety that we are. There are those ones who their challenge will be food. There are those ones who their challenge will be which kind of house they live in. There are those ones who, so we have different challenges in modern times. And the competition is there for us to be able to manage our challenges. So as we discuss, just don't think on one line and think of one challenge, think broadly. So I felt that for this context, in this context, I will talk about challenges in our, or how to manage challenges in our setup. And in our setup, we have education, we have agriculture and the other natural sciences, then we have engineering. I felt that if I talk about all those, I will have covered what we are identifying with. So, which education technology has been brought up to be able to manage the challenges that we have in education? So, if you, I'm looking for a pointer. So, if you think of libraries, these days, what do we have? Electronic libraries, isn't it? So, you can have the whole library on your laptop. That is one way of managing the challenges that we have, either of having new libraries or getting books into the libraries, or even you accessing the library. So we have electronic libraries. These days we have smart boards. It's either a smart board or a whiteboard, so that you don't have to eat the chalk that the teachers used to eat so much. And also, of course, a smart board will be able to screen things when you are just using a button. Of course, there is the mobile, and virtual teaching also is there. So in education, there is a lot of technology that can be applied to be able to manage the challenges that we are facing in modern times. And COVID, of course, taught us quite a lot. We thought that just because COVID has come and we are not supposed to associate, we are going to shut down. Then technology allowed us to see that we can still move on using technology. When you think of engineering, I might not be an authority in it, but of course, even in engineering, there's a lot of technology, and they will use various tools to be able to get through in engineering. And now, where I know best, and where I drink and eat and exist, is in agriculture technology. And agriculture technology, I want you to think of it as agriculture as well as the natural sciences, environmental science, agroforestry, yeah, all those natural sciences. And agriculture is very well endowed with different technologies. These days, if you don't have a kitchen garden, do vertical farming. You have a whole farm sitting on only one drum, and you go upwards, and you're able to still get the food that you would have needed. Biotechnology has come, where we are doing different things in biotechnology, tissue culture, molecular biology, genetic engineering. If you think of artificial intelligence and big data, you can handle lots of data. Those times when we were growing up in the science, we used to use a calculator. I'm sure you can't identify with that because that wasn't modern times. In modern times, we use packages. We use programs to analyze your data. Drones are the in thing now, where you send the drone, takes your data for you, takes pictures for you, and sends them to your laptop. Great things are happening. Robotics, precision farming, and Internet of Things, where you connect up tools and you are able to get moving. So that is agriculture for you. So if you're thinking about running the tractor, these days tractors are using robotics to you don't have to go looking for a driver who will punish you if you don't sing their music. So technology has really come up to sort out the constraints that we would have in agriculture and natural science production. And like I said, I'll bias on that, not because the others are minor, but just because that's where I'm a professional in. And I want to highlight the challenges that you will get in agriculture and natural sciences. The main one, climate change. Like now it's raining, it's early March, so people are wondering. I was asking one of the farmers, so are you going to plant? And they are like, do we really plant? So climate change has come to bring up the challenge of not knowing whether it will rain or not, or if it rains, will it be sustainable? The temperatures are changing. I grew a seed crop, and it just refused to pod because the temperatures just went high, which is not normal, but what do you do? So climate change has come as a great challenge in agriculture and natural sciences. And therefore, we must have ways and means of managing the the climate change. What about consumer diversity? Consumer diversity, like I said, I come from Eastern, so for us, mukimo is the food. If I serve some of you mukimo, you just wonder whether I didn't know you were coming. Because if I know you are coming and I know who you are, then I should know that mukimo is not your food. So you can see that we really are diverse in our ways of demand for food. And remember, the description of what is food security is that it also must be, it isn't just sufficient. It isn't supposed to be just sufficient. It is supposed to be the preferred one, the one that the person who you're serving is willing to take. So that if I serve you snakes, you tell me I'm not Chinese, isn't it? If I serve you snails, you tell me I'm not an Asian. You see, so we have different consumer choices, and that diversity is in itself a challenge, because as agriculturists, we need to be able to provide food, and that is not only just enough, but that is also acceptable. And the one we were just talking about, politics. You will tell me, does politics really become a challenge? And therefore, do we need to apply technology to be able to manage politics? You see, there can be artificial deficiency. I mean, it is artificial in that the food is there, but because you might not be politically correct, or that the person who is running that particular enterprise is not politically aligned, that food will not be available. So which technology are you going to use to be able to manage the politics that makes food not to be available, or even not to be the right food? Because we were told about how one time lorries of maize and beans were taken to Northeastern. Now, you see, when you take maize and beans to Northeastern, they are like, that is not really food. So we must think about how to manage politics using technology. And I gave you the different ways, the different technologies in agriculture. Maybe you might need to use artificial intelligence. Maybe you might need to use, it's you now to be able to choose what technology is going to be applicable, but it is of necessity. So we in the School of Agriculture have decided to challenge ourselves in application of technology, so that we can be able to address the food needs of this country. And I'm going to talk about two technologies that we are applying, and I'll start with the one that I know most. That is about variety development through mutation techniques. Yesterday there was a presentation on mutation techniques, and people were wondering, so this crop that is developed, is it radioactive? And we really had a long discussion about that. So that is a lack of awareness of the kind of technology and what that technology can do. Mutation techniques, especially when you use irradiation, that is, you use either gamma rays or X-rays to develop the varieties. They are not radioactive, and there is no foreign gene that is brought in, and therefore it is absolutely different from genetic engineering. So in the School of Agriculture, we've gone ahead to come up with black bean or lab bean or doricos, depending on which book you read. And the black bean has been very famous for food, but people don't think about its production. So we've looked at the production challenges of the doricos bean, that is drought tolerance, aphid resistance, bruchid resistance, the taste, the organoleptics, and we've used mutation techniques to come up with 4 varieties which have been released, and they are university varieties, and it is through the use of mutation techniques. The famous Eldo Mavuno is another variety that has come up through the use of mutation techniques and enhancing and other enhancing technologies. And Eldo Mavuno is actually very famous with the farmers. They keep on asking for seed, and yeah, so it's one way of applying technology to be able to address the modern challenges. We have the Irish potato also, and last month we were able to release 2 new varieties, Eldo Amani and Eldo Fanaka, to address the challenges of disease, that is bacterial wilt and early blight, and also the production, the production potential. So if you want seed for any of these, come forward and we'll be able to give to you, and you go and plant and you manage the challenges that you're facing. Lastly, we have cassava. Cassava is not very known in Uasin Gishu, in the central, in the North Rift, but in Western and Nyanza region, cassava is very well known, and in Eastern, it's actually also coming up in the Marakwet area. So cassava is good for food, but it has the challenges of cassava mosaic disease and cassava brown streak. Once the root browns, then you are not able to eat it. So the varieties that are about to be released, we have 3 varieties that are about to be released of cassava, and they are resistant to brown streak, and 2 of them are resistant to cassava mosaic disease. One of them is not resistant, and therefore we need to be able to improve it. So those are ways that we've applied technology to be able to address the challenges that are there in food production and productivity. And to enhance that mutation techniques, we've also got other techniques or technology that would help in that. So we have in vitro screening, where instead of you going to the field, you do it in the test tube. You are able to screen and use growth chambers to be able to grow that crop to see whether it has the value that you are saying that it has, and you're doing it in vitro. We of course have the molecular techniques, where we have a lab to be able to study the diversity of the crops that you've developed, also to find out which gene have you introduced and how is it working. So the molecular techniques is one way of doing that, and we have a lab that is fully equipped through projects, of course. So there are different stages of the molecular techniques. So you have the gel apparatus, you have the PCR machines, and that helps you to come up with products that you can read. Bioinformatics will be able to help you to read, to see the differences that will come up. That is when you study the gel, and that is still molecular techniques. We also have cytology, still in the lab. You're able to look at the cells and determine whether you have what you are looking for or not, still using technology. Relatedness of materials, by having the tree, and you want to see how are they related to each other. Are they close to each other, or are they distant relatives, or are they not related at all? So that is also one way that you can use molecular techniques for. You can use different packages, and that's still part of technology to be able to look at the relatedness. And the distances are different depending on the material that you have and also the package that you have. Now, when you do mutation techniques, like these were 3 varieties of potato that were irradiated. And you can see the populations remain together in most cases, because with mutation techniques, you only change one aspect of the crop. You don't change too many aspects like the way when you do hybridization. When you do hybridization, you change many traits. Then you have to keep selecting. But when you do mutation techniques, you change 1 or 2 traits. And that's why you see the populations are remaining together. This one is a Asante variety that was irradiated, and these were the populations we got, and you can see they remained within the same the same scatter plot. And this one was Kenya Mpya, and then Kenya Sherekea. So you can see the populations stay together, and then now you are able to choose which of these populations is going to serve your purpose, but still look like the parent. And that is the beauty of mutation techniques. Advanced tissue culture, where we've been able to root cuttings of pyrethrum. We've also been able to root cuttings of potato, and therefore we can be able to give you plantlets through advanced tissue culture. We also have cassava, where we can give you plantlets from still our lab, and that is still application of technology to be able to address the challenges. So I have just discussed about in vitro screening, where you don't have to go to the field, and bioinformatics is also another way of handling your data and also information to be able to interpret what your findings are, and that is happening in our school. And of course, now that we are celebrating 10 years of advancement, it's good to show off what we've been able to do. Virtual teaching, some of us these days, we are liberated, we are delivered, because I mean, you just make sure that the surroundings are fine, and if they are not fine, you close the camera and you're good to move. So we do virtual teaching, and that is a real great advancement. I mean, for these modern times, to be able to, and it is a great advantage even for the students, because like the postgraduates who are in service, you can still work and agree that classes are going to be set in a way that it favors you. You don't have to travel. You can get out of your office or even do your class in your office, or if you are somewhere else, you would be able to continue. So virtual teaching is one of those great things that have happened in the modern times, and it is because there was technology to support it. If it wasn't there, it wouldn't have been possible. Mobile extension. You have the mobile apps. Soko, iko kwa mobile. So you'll be able to know whether seed is there or not. One of our PhD students was doing a mobile app, or testing a mobile app, that the potato farmers will be able to know which diseases, what kind of treatment do you need, where do you get the pesticides or even the herbicides, where do you get to sell your potatoes. mobile extension. You're able to just do it from your office. These are great things that are happening in our school, and we are happy that we are moving on to use technology. So what would we conclude? I want to conclude that technology is good. You just need to be able to choose which is the right technology for whatever need that you have, and make sure that you don't misuse technology, because anything has got its hindsight, and therefore you just need to be selective enough to choose the right technology that is going to serve the purpose that you need it for. And I also want to conclude that it is indeed inevitable for development in the modern times. So technology, you can't avoid it. You can't say in the 60s we used to do this, or our parents used to do this. You'll be misplaced, because these are modern times, and therefore technology is inevitable, and we need to be able to apply it. And I wish to thank you for listening. So I guess it's question time, or that is it. Yes, okay. I'm ready for the challenge. There is one here. There are two.
Environmental science. Yes, Professor. It's working now. Professor Gohole, and then Dr. Kiptui. So let's start with Ben. Please don't give a lecture, just ask questions. Okay.
Yeah. So my question is very simple, not really directed to you, but you have provoked the question. Yesterday I had something like, bring the gown to town. And now you've really highlighted very good technologies, but I know about you, so maybe I shouldn't ask you that question, but I want to ask the question all the same. Are we doing what we are preaching? If you go to School of Agriculture right now, instead of students getting licenses to drive tractors, probably they should get licenses to control drones. But do you even have a drone at the School of Agriculture? Drones can do so many things in agriculture. Why aren't you bringing those technologies into our curriculum? Is it that they're expensive? A drone costs about, cheapest is about $100, but a good drone which can spray should be about $1,000. Why aren't we bringing these things to our teaching and making agriculture vibrant again? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for that presentation. Mine is about the presentation in relation to the GMOs. There's been a lot of discussion on whether the GMOs are negative or positive. Maybe you could have linked the presentation, the issue of the GMO with the presentation. And secondly, we are hearing about new technologies in agriculture. For example, aquaponics, hydroponics, and all that. How can that be linked in the context of technology and your presentation? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And Dr. Mwasi, you started off by saying, can we take the gown to town? And I had an experience where indeed we have to take the gown to town. On Sunday after church, somebody approached me and asked me, they know I'm in School of Agriculture, and said that I want to propagate some very unique plants, and I want to do it fast. And I know you're the people who have the brains to do that. So he wants to be brought to University of Eldoret and be taken through techniques where he can propagate these crops as fast as possible and sell them, because he has the market and there's the demand. So can we now take our gown to town and help these entrepreneurs and many others who are also in that situation but maybe do not have the opportunity to come and ask us?
You can respond to that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the challenge. I am the one who brought it up, so I might as well face the music. About technology and something like the drones. I think sometimes we are enemies of our own selves. Because 2 weeks ago, I was in a meeting in an African, it was for the African region, so I was representing Kenya, and we were 24 countries. And this person was offering to give whoever was interested drones. And because we were not aware of what drones were, and we really trained, for a few of us who are aware of what drones are, we're trying to fight to pass it, that we can be able to be given drones. And at the end, people were like, I'd rather not get drones. Then they say they'd rather get a tractor. You see? Because we have closed our minds from technology. We've decided that we are okay. And that's why we will say, when I was in secondary school, we used to write notes. So you don't see the need for a laptop in primary or in secondary school, because it isn't because of the cost of it, it's just because in your mind you can't see it. So in the end, okay, three of us were chosen to be able to get the drones, because at least, like I was telling them, I went to the Netherlands, and my host was taking notes from the office. You just get the drone to go check the notes for you, check which disease is there, and send it back to the laptop, and you're okay. You know whether you should go and spray. And the others were like, can that be done? You see? And all of us were senior scientists. There was none of us who was young scientists. So Dr. Mwasi, to answer you, we could go even way further. Like let's say maybe if I told Prof that I want to bring drones, then he would tell me, what about security? What about this? Let's go and ask management whether they will agree that drones should be brought to the School of Agriculture. Then it will take 1 year for management to agree. See, we are talking about technology, isn't it? And we are not talking about anybody. We're just talking about technology. You can now hear. So maybe the answer is this, that we are enemies of our own selves. We would be going places, but now we have locked our minds and decided that technology is a challenge instead of technology sorting out the challenges. For GMO, I actually avoided it purposefully. For those of us who know, I was actually the first chair of the National Biosafety Authority, and therefore we made decisions, And I'll say it this way as a scientist, not as a politician. Genetic engineering is getting a foreign gene from a different species into the species that you're interested in, so that it can be able to bring that trait that is in that other species that you're borrowing. So you can get from microorganisms to the plant, or you can get from animals to the plant, or you can get from one very distant animal to another. So that is what genetic engineering is. It has advanced now. There is also gene editing, where if a gene doesn't please you, just edit it out, you know? Scientifically, in the principles of science is that we know a gene does not do just one thing. So you must ask yourself, when you edit it, what else have you done? Then when you bring in a gene from a different organism into this other organism, apart from just the coding, what else have you come with? You see? So those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Genetic engineering is good if it is well understood and well done, because it's an answer to the challenges that we have. But now the question is, how far are we in being able to understand those principles of science that are applicable, and that we might be ignoring, because of course science is science, and the principles will remain unless they've been disputed. So if Prof says a fish will breathe through the gills, it does, isn't it? Fish breathes through the gills. So if you want your plant to breathe, then you decide you want to borrow that gene so that the plant can breathe, because you need it to maybe transpire nicely without having to come out. So those are the kind of things that we have. We were given a paper to write, Professor Ochodo and myself, and we really had a lengthy discussion. We discussed for long before we could agree what is the content of that write-up. But basically, I would say that when science is done responsibly, we are fine. When we ignore some of the aspects of science, then we have our own problems. That's how I would answer it. We can have longer discussions if you so wish. You can see me in town. See, we've seen the gown is taken. So you can see me in town, and and then we can discuss there. I will not maybe get further than the science, because it is the science I wanted to discuss. Prof. Gohole about no, sorry, there was also aquaponics and hydroponics. We will very soon have that technology at the School of Agriculture, so we can do hydroponics for hydroponics. We're raising the potato tubers, the micro tubers. Aquaponics also, we should be able to do that. It's just the demand. We just need to have the demand, and we'll be able to supply, because when the demand is there, then we must look for the means to answer to the demand. And that's why I also now go to Professor Gohole's question about techniques. So you just need to tell this farmer or whoever it is, businessman or whoever they are, that if they come, we will be able to look at what plant is this that they want to propagate quickly. Will we use tissue culture? Will we use cuttings? Because these days plants, we've known how to do cuttings, and we root them and we get them to shoot. Or which method. It depends on what crop they are interested in, and therefore, which method we are going to apply. But otherwise, we are more than ready. Maybe the lab is not big enough, but like right now, we are doing pyrethrum cuttings for a business person who wants to raise very many pyrethrum plantlets. We are also doing TC for them, for pyrethrum and also for potatoes, because we want to get there faster. So the techniques are there, and we are ready to apply them. Let them visit us, and maybe that also gives us the challenge as a school that those things that we are talking about, let us be able to apply them, and it is possible to apply them. I think I've answered.
Thank you, Prof. You'll allow us to give you another round of questions. Yes, just one. This was Dr. Kiptui. I don't know if this, and then Dr. Were, and then I think we'll return the mic.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the presentation. I appreciated the title, technology, and how it can be used to manage modern challenges. You mentioned one of the challenges to be politics, and it was like the link between politics and agriculture was not coming out clearly, but then you were able to show. Now, this variable, if I call it variable, politics, has the potential of either enhancing or distorting our development efforts. I was wondering, and you may want to help us to reflect, how do we manage this variable so that it goes in the direction of our desire? Thank you.
Thank you, Prof, for your presentation. Mine is more of a comment. While I appreciate the work of scientists in producing plenty of food for the community and the society, don't you think it is also important that we encourage or teach the community to also accept other foods, break our nutritional beliefs and taboos we have towards foods, and be able to try other people's food? In that way, we still have plenty of food, even when there is a shortage. So that if you invite us and we find mokimo on your menu, we should still just eat that mokimo and enjoy it. Or if, say, Professor Ochuodo comes over and does not find fish on the menu, he should still eat white ants, which are a delicacy, or any other rich protein food. So let us break this culture and beliefs that we have towards food and open up to other foods. In that way, we shall have plenty to eat. Thank you.
Continue, Prof.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for those two questions. Both of them are really tough in that I'm just wondering which answer to give. Let me dare talk about the politics one. We will always have politics with us. I mean, whether we wish it away or we wish it in, whichever way we do, we will always have it. And this is a global thing. It isn't a Kenyan affliction. For us who have traveled, personally I've traveled in all the continents of the world apart from the Arctic and the Antarctica. And you find that there is always some politics, whether it is in agriculture or in social science or wherever it is. It is just that some people know how to handle it and discreetly, while for others it's just in an equal, yeah? But whichever way, there is politics. But we must agree that as we are professionals, and once we are able to separate professionalism with politics, then we should be able to do our professional part and let the politicians do the politics. But because we know that the politics is going to affect how we function, we must just bring in wisdom. You, many times I have found myself, you know, by the way, I came at 8:45 because I was told my presentation was going to be at 9. So we've sat here for 1 hour as we waited for you people to come. And in the process we were talking, and I was trying to share with some of my colleagues the kind of politics that we have met on our path. But you just must remember that you are a professional. And once you try to make professionalism to fit politics, you're in trouble. There was once, we were supposed to examine a wheat sample. Someone had brought it in, and they wanted us to say that it doesn't have kernel band. For you to be able to say it doesn't have kernel band, you must culture. You must be able to screen it, isn't it? And we were supposed to give the report by the end of the day. And you're telling them, the report cannot be given by the end of the day. Then you are asked, who are you? Others can do it. Then you say, why don't you just take it to those others? Because personally, if I am a scientist, science tells me that the culture must live for 3 days for me to be able to read the finding and be able to tell whether it has kernel band or not. And you're told, okay, utaona. Now, when you're told utaona, when you have a young family, and they rely on that small salary, it gets very threatening. So you actually want to bend towards politics. And that's why you see a scientist will answer something that they know kabisa. Sio hivyo. But they just want to survive to be able to feed their children. But I guess that's where now you must apply wisdom, and you must apply professional ethics, and you must be able to know what else you can do. And that's why I was proposing that we can use technology. Maybe you'd be able to show this person that, look, I must see these spores. And then they are like, I don't want to look, I don't want to look. That's what they say. Then you say, okay, if you don't want to look, can you allow me to look so that I'm able to tell you whether they are there or not? I mean, you must be able to retain your professionalism, but still live within the politics that present themselves. We are in a crowd, so of course some of these examples you didn't be able to give. Again, you can see me aside. And I will let you know. At least now, Prof, mine has grown. My last born is married, so I'm fine. But it can get very tricky. And sometimes it's even global. There was once we said that something was not technically okay. And we were asked whether we knew which country we were talking to. So you either choose, okay, since it is that country we are talking to, I might as well just say what they want to hear. Then you sell your professionalism. Then you sell your integrity. But now, also refusing to do that, you are on the hanging line. The noose will be tightened. So you just must know how to live on. If in doubt, you can come and see some of us who have lived on for a very long time. By God's grace, you know, there are times I say that some of us are alive just by God's grace. But yeah, so that's what I would say, that you must still apply technology, deal with politics, but remain professional. That would be my answer. The one for encouraging diversity.
You can summarize that.
Yeah, this one is going to be very small because I think it just comes naturally, Daktari. Because like for us now, when we came to Rift Valley, we eat ugali every day. Every day. Every day there's ugali. But that wouldn't have been if I was in Eastern. I think the best thing is to just allow it to come out naturally, instead of us having to force it. But I mean, in the natural exposure, then it is going to come up. That's what I would say. If you try to force it, people will resist. When they resist, it will backfire. So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Let's appreciate Prof.
Thank you very much, Prof. Kinyua, for that presentation. And as she goes down, just want to say that this lady disappeared during Corona. And then when she came back, she was genetically modified. So when I met her, I almost ran away. She just opened my door to my office. I said, but who is this? And she said, no, it is me. Then I said, is it genetically modification or what? Then he said, it just came. So we thank God, because at least now it is not died. It's natural. And also we want to celebrate her. She's one of our very key researchers with a lot of innovations. And just early this year, no, last year, she got an international award from Atomic Energy Agency. And that was something, a pride that we get from the kind of researches that we're doing. And the award had to be given outside there. International award, not Kenyan. So please let us also get awards for Eldoret. And then we can move ahead. So can you please just applaud her again? Thank you very much, Prof. And as you sit down, the manage. Okay.
That I discovered also like this, and I was like, who's that one? When I saw the person on the mirror, and I thought I liked them, that person. So I decided to be like them. That's what happened.
Thank you very much. And Prof, as you sit down, management are not sleeping. They can't sleep for 1 year to answer your question. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very interesting to be in both sides. I remember when we are talking to the unionists, or when the unionists are talking, solidarity forever. See, those people don't hear anything. Those people only understand. Sometimes I say, I wish I was on the other side now, because they are realities. Yeah, they're realities, but I think as much as possible, I think management is really trying. There's a lot that is going on there, but they're realities. You've seen these campaigns. Somebody campaign and say, within 100 days, now ukifika hapo, it is impossible. Not because you don't want to do it, but it is impossible. There are things to be done. So it's important to reach there, then you can realize what is going on. Now, I'm not defending the management, but management is doing a good job. Chudo always likes criticizing that the gate is never open. But if you sit down with Ochudo and you tell him, why is that gate not open, he will understand that something is going on, and at an appropriate time, that gate will be opened. So that is just for, to defend the management, because it is not for debate. Allow me to call Professor Kohole to take us through to the next level. Thank you so much. Can we clap for Madam again and that session?
Good morning, everyone. I will call my co-moderator, Dr. Aria, to also come up, please. Dr. Aria, we are in this together. Now we are going into the next session, which is the panel session. And this first panel is going to tackle issues to do with the supporting commercialization of research among young innovators. And we had 4 individuals who are invited, who are part of some organizations that can play a role in this topic. And I will request the following to come and take a seat in front here before we start the session. Mr. Joseph Murambula. Joseph Murambula. And then we have Mr. Peter Ndoro. I'm told he's not yet in. Mr. Stephen Mongela. I won't say anything for the moment. Let them just sit, and then I would suggest you sit, take the middle seats. Don't sit too far so that you can be seen. And then we have Mr. Willie Kenei. I think they are on the way. So just to start this off, we know that entrepreneurship now is the main avenue for young graduates, the youth, to generate income, create employment. And all they need is the opportunities to do that, and eventually they can contribute to the growth of the economy at the various levels in the country. Now, the youth have quite a number of ideas that can be commercialized. All they need is just that push, the help to actualize these ideas that they have. Now, the ideas have to be innovative and also exploit unique niches. Not that you import one thing and then you see everybody importing the same thing to sell. Whereas if you go to town, you'll find that all shops are the same. So it's looking for those unique niches and then exploiting them, coming up with innovative ideas of how to exploit them. And we need to help them to do this. So, and what other thing is they need to be exposed to some societal needs. You know, you only notice there's a niche if you're in touch with the people, with the communities. Then you realize there's a need over here, and how can I make use of that to come up with some ideas for entrepreneurship? Then you get the ingredients, bake the cake, and you see some enterprise that has come up that's very unique. Now, there are a lot of organizations and institutions that have expanded their portfolio so that they can include and support such individuals who have such ideas and set up these enterprises. Then they come in the form of incubators, accelerator programs. Some even provide funds for such ideas, and also capacity building. Now, today we have the opportunity to listen to some of the experts from these various organizations that work in this space, and let us listen carefully to what they have to tell us. You can write your questions, and then later on we'll give a chance for people to ask their questions. But as moderators, we'll start off by asking them a few questions, and then from there, maybe you can be intrigued and ask a question that you think is very important, having in mind that we are trying to commercialize some of these things that the youth have in mind. Okay? So we'll start off by, I'm hoping the others will join, and then we'll see how to integrate them. So we have a representative from Kenya Climate Innovation Center, and then a representative from the Plus Farm. So I will not say anything about them. They will tell us. So we are going to start off by you briefly telling us in 1 minute, telling us who you are, and then what is your organization about in relation to this topic of supporting commercialization of research among the young. So we'll start with Mr. Joseph Murambula.
Good morning. I'm standing in for our CEO. My name is Moses Kipkemboy, and I work with Kenya Climate Innovation Center as a business analyst and the regional office in Uasin Gishu. I will just do a brief about KCIC. So Kenya Climate Innovation Center is it's a company limited by guarantee, but our support to businesses or the incubators is basically an NGO. What we're currently doing is implementing a number of programs, and one of our main program is Agribiz program, which is currently implemented in 8 regional offices. One of them is Uasin Gishu, in partnership with the county government. And our key area is supporting the businesses who have an edge in creating adaptation to climate change. So what we're currently doing in Uasin Gishu is supporting youth and women under Agribiz program, a program funded by European Union and Danida. And UoE has been a partner for the last 1 year. We have assigned MOU, and we have areas we are collaborating together. We've participated in previous events like the UoE Trade Fair, and we have a number of businesses we support. So a number of our support areas of the services we do is we do financing through grants and also access to additional funding outside in terms of packaging documentation for clients. We also support businesses to access facilities. For instance, there are some businesses that need to commercialize, but they don't have finances to access CAPS, KIRDI, KFIS for certification. So we do that under technical assistance. We also support businesses in research through access to information. We also support the businesses in advisory, so we assign businesses analysts who work day to day with businesses in terms of establishing the business units. We also support the businesses in networkings. We also do trainings, capacity building, etc. So in a nutshell, we are 11 years old. We celebrated our 10 years last year, February. We are now 11 years in the country, and we run a number of programs. So our main program is Agribiz, Greenbiz, and those programs focuses in 5 thematic areas. So we have agribusinesses, we have renewable energy, we have waste management, water management, agroforestry, etc. So those are the information about, and we are seated opposite University of Eldoret at AMS. So we have our office there, the new building on your way to town. So in case of questions, then we will catch from there.
Thank you very much. At least now we have an idea of what KCIC is all about. Next, we'll ask Mr. Mongela to introduce himself and tell us something about this platform.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Mongela, and I see a lot of familiar faces here because this is where I come from. So, first of all, I'd like to talk about platform, but I would like for you to remember that I'm here mostly to advocate for students here. In 2016, we had a project here called Faida Mazao. At the time, we were trying to innovate around provision of methodologies that could curb food waste. So one of the approaches that we were using was developing a cold storage unit powered by solar energy. Now, I don't know what we were doing that, because first of all, we were from the School of Business and no idea about thermodynamics and so on. So we struggled a lot. And the university was very gracious with us. And like I mentioned, that's why I'm here. But through that particular experience and the exposures that we got, because we had a lot of opportunities to travel, present, we went all the way to South Africa under the same project at the time. So we started now getting to the opportunities that are in agriculture. And that's why in 2017, 2018, thereabout, we got a project funded by students from the Netherlands, University of Utrecht, and the project was an aquaponics project. And we were very successful in that particular project that farmers now started coming to us asking for advice on farming, still the business students. So in 2018, 2019, we decided to commercialize that particular approach of supporting farmers through services. So then we started providing farmers with advisory services in Uasin Gishu particularly. And in 2020, just before the onset of COVID, we launched digital platforms that could now disseminate extension way faster and way broader. And through that particular project and program, we were able to enroll thousands of farmers. We were able to reach heights that we never thought we would reach. We were able to travel to places like London and other places to be able to just present those approaches that we were using in agriculture. And since then, we have commercialized the approach of providing farm management services, or rather farm management as a service to farmers, especially a niche of farmers that are very fond of looking neat and not touching the soil, and professionals, busy people, diaspora community, and so forth. So we are providing those people with farm management services by supporting either their relatives or their farm managers to be able to commercialize their farms. So now we are handling from farm to fork through a whole approach of employing both people and digital technologies and combining those to provide a value proposition that people seem happy to pay for. Now, that aside, we have also attracted another niche of business, which is there are organizations such as the USA, the GIZ, that seem to think that we are doing an incredible job in what we do, and they are therefore enrolling us to provide larger programs for them, especially in Western Kenya, training thousands of farmers. And now, this year, we have attracted the attention of the UK organization, KTN, which is the Knowledge Exchange Network, that are trying to establish an innovation ecosystem in Eldoret, and have now enrolled us to be a partner to a UK company in enrolling some technologies, blockchain technologies in Eldoret. So I would say that this, and I'm telling this story to show the ripple down effect of the little support that we received from very, very, very supportive individuals in this university many years ago, and how then that has gone on to provide employment for us and by extension to provide for our families. So I would like to mention that being said, I feel like the university has the potential to do more, not for me, but for other students now here, because we are very lonely out there. And when I go to conferences and they stand and say, okay, I come from the University of Eldoret, I have to explain where that is. And I shouldn't have to do that because we do incredible work here. I was in Ethiopia last year in a conference where I was the only person who had a Mr. before his name. The rest were doctors and professors. And I had to explain to them where the university comes from and how big we are in agriculture. And I think that needs to be translated in both industry through research, and that's why the topic of day is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephen. As you notice, he is one of us. He was our student, and doing great things out there. So they are there. They have ideas. Just needs to nurture them. So I'll hand over to my co-promoter, moderator, to now shoot some questions.
Okay, thank you, Prof. All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. Without any reference to anyone, I will want to ask Steve a question. I think I've met you in many platforms also, and it's inspiring us that you are one of us in our school. Many students now are coming to the university to go and look for jobs, and that is the major challenge facing Africa and Kenya. But you chose a different path when you joined the university by trying to be an entrepreneur or run some level of business. So what really inspires you to do that? That's one. Maybe a follow-up question could also be, at what point did you, in 2016 you started a project which you were here in a group of students, and that project, I could say, flopped or never was not successful. Then in 2017 you changed to something different. Under what circumstances as an entrepreneur did you think that you need to change from one line of thought to another line of thought?
I'll start with, I don't remember a specific moment where it would be very beautiful for me to say I had a shower thought and I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't. I think the programs here exposed me to the possibility, because I come from just what we call an humble background. So I wanted a job. I wanted to finish school and just do a job and be able to help people at home. But there were some initiatives that we were part of as business students, and Actors was one of the clubs that we were in And through Enactors, the students in Enactors thought I should be the team president, so I became the team president in Enactors. And through that particular exposure and interactions with industry, because now you're interacting with CEOs from Coca-Cola, and they're talking to you one-on-one, and that was very interesting for me, and I think it's those moments that sort of brought it closer and made me feel like it was possible for us to also do that and reach that particular epitome of success, especially in entrepreneurship. And I would like to say that the project that we were doing was an incredible project. It was fantastic, and we were way ahead of ourselves, because right now is when people are commercializing that particular technology as we speak. So we were way ahead of ourselves, and that's why even in places that we went to seek for help, they didn't know what to do with us, because we were just too ahead of ourselves. I would say that we did not have the luxury of failing, because we could have gone and done more, but really we were resource sort of strapped, and therefore we couldn't really continue through the same path of doing and the little money that we were earning, just putting it in. So we wanted to something that had a shorter turnaround. So then it was really natural, because farmers were coming to us, and when you go to a farmer's place, you're not even asking them for money, but when you're leaving, they give you something. So we were like, okay, so this is something, so we can commercialize this. So what we have done is just turned that around, made the value proposition that we offer wider, because now some farmers would come for just one particular service. They would like have 1,000 heads of cabbage. I want them to go to market, and then I'll be like, my cut is 5%. When can we move this? And then, so I can commercialize that really fast. And then I have someone in diaspora with 10 acres of land, and they're like, I would like to be able to do that farm. Can you find me a farm manager, place them at the farm, and then start farming? So that person only expects a check from me at the end of 6 or so months. So then that's very easy for me to commercialize, because now I have digital platforms that provide them traceability and visibility of the value chain, and they can be able to see what we are doing on a daily basis on their farm from their offices in London or Widok or wherever it is that they are at. Yeah.
Let me find out, are there any students in this audience at the moment? By show of hands. A few. It's a shame that you can have one of you here with very great ideas, but they are not there to listen, because some of them come asking questions, and yet this is where some of those questions can be answered. So the few who are here, thank you for coming. Just be our representatives of the organizers, and tell the students there are a lot of things that are happening there that touches them, especially for their future, and encourage them to come and listen to such talk, please. Please.
Thank you so much again. Thank you again, Stephen, for that. We'll still really need to hear from you, because we are a place where students are really struggling with some of these things. But let me come to Moses and ask Moses, you guys are doing a wonderful job, and you have a lot of key milestones within a very short period of time in terms of what you do, incubation, capacity building of SMEs, and things like that. But where is the space? I know, or you said that we have an MOU with the Kenya Climate Innovation Center. So what are some of the actual deliverables we could possibly think we can partner with and move around with very fast, especially for our students who are great innovators in this university?
Thank you. The MOU was signed toward the end of last year, around October, September, thereabout. And among the key areas that we ought to support in is the exposure of students by coming and learning through also our expertise that's there in terms of day-to-day work, through internships, attachments, etc. But the main area also that we ought to benefit from the university is through the research. And one of the areas that we've already participated in is through mushroom farming training that happened in one of our clients, and it was undertaken by a staff from the university. So the main areas actually will come in through the value additions, also financing. So if there is some areas where the university participate in activities that help farmers or students and they are aligned in our program, we can come in, such as the trade fair that took place last year. So I know we came in and we brought our clients to exhibit their products, and they were really great innovations. Also through the network and the partnership. So our main financials or support, the main support we get from World Bank, European Union and ANIDA. So those are some of the areas that if the university are also expanding in terms of value addition, we're talking something about drones. So we can explore areas of partnerships, either through financing and also through the trainings and the and tapping the expertise from the university. Yeah.
So as a follow-up, what is this financing? What is the process like, and who is eligible? And what should someone who is maybe in the audience who has got an idea, do you fund an idea, or you find already tangible product which is ready to be sold, or you fund accelerators? At what point do you do the financing, and what are the conditions for this financing, especially for the youths who are here who could possibly get hold of you, and how then do they reach the organization? Is it through the university, or they can walk at your office now that you're next door and talk to you?
Thank you. Just a bit of background also on the program. So it depends on what program you want to be onboarded onto. So our two main programs are AgriBiz and GreenBiz. So for GreenBiz, we're just looking mostly at the innovation part and the climate change. So we look at any applicant that is in the aspect of agribusiness, renewable energy, water management, waste management. I think we've seen at some point somebody is doing a fencing post from plastics. We talk about waste management, so the drip irrigation. We talk about the renewable energy. So if we are supporting a client, instead of going to the generators way, we do solar power backup. We also look at agroforest. That's in GreenBiz program. So if your business falls under that, then you are a suitable candidate for GreenBiz. And since it's very competitive programs to get into, you just have to have that aspect of innovation. What differentiates you from your next person doing the business? And then the AgriBiz program is a program that solely looks at two eligibility aspects. One, you have to be in agribusiness value chain, so you're doing something in agriculture. Either it's primary production, value addition, aggregation, access to market, etc. And you have to be either a youth or a woman. So for this one, it's a donor fund program, and those are the conditions. The eligibility are to agriculture, and you have to be a youth or a woman. And then the program we onboard for the clients on that program, we onboard towards the end of every year, between September and November, whereby we do sensitization. We normally do with the county staff, and we welcome application through online or physical forms, and then the applicants goes through vetting or actually scoring. So we evaluate the applications. So for instance, last year we received approximately 467 applications, but we hope to onboard a maximum of 100. So it's a competitive-based program to get into. And then once you are in the program, we take you for 1 year through the incubation program. And we take the first 3 months through knowing you. So we get to know the client in terms of documentation, how are the business systems, what is the client doing, and what are the gaps in the business that we can fit in. Then the next 3 to 9 months towards the end of the program, this is where we look at filling the gaps. So it's about technical assistance. We say that this business is doing well with Irish potatoes, but we need to get this business certified with KEFIS. We need to register this business. We need to expose this business to training on bookkeeping, raising financing, etc. And then if we feel that this business really warrants our financing, that's when now we can consider for internal funding, whereby we can do grants and we can do loans, but it's actually margin grants. So we have grants and margin grants, and we have repayable grants. So you will say, I want to do this, and you have $500,000, then we just match the $500,000, or we can just give you 800,000 or 1.2, 1.5, 1.6, depending on the needs of the business. So when we look at the nature of our the businesses so far that we've supported, because we cut across 6 regions, we do Turkana, we do West Pokot, we do Baringo, we do Nandi, Uasin Gishu, and Elgeyo Marakwet. So far, we've supported close to 214 businesses. We finance 70s, we are at 70s, because there are a number of them which are at approval stages currently. And they vary. Some are doing primary, some are doing value addition. And we will say most of the business so far in Uasin Gishu, and some of the beneficiaries actually are businesses from University of Eldoret. We can talk about, there is a lady doing sericulture who has done a number of research. She did research for almost 3 to 4 years. She was onboarded in the program. We've supported her to commercialize the business. So that's one of the businesses that I can mention from the UoE. So the competition or the onboarding process is that competitive. It requires the business to be unique. The areas or the nature of businesses, we look at CBOs, we look at the early stages businesses, and we look at SMEs. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I think we should be winding up so that we can give the audience also a chance to ask, but let's just have one question for Stephen, which I think you can direct to the young innovators, where you can share with these young innovators the processes, the challenges, and how you overcame this, so that if they want to start their own enterprises, at least they have somebody that they can mark up to. So what advice can you give to them?
I would like to start from the same place that I stopped, which is it requires, I'm sure people say that it takes a village to raise a child. So it takes an ecosystem to raise an innovator or an entrepreneur. And as such, for these young people here to be creative, that has to be nurtured. And I think that is what happened, whether it was intentional or not. That was what happened to me, that there was something in me that was there that I didn't know was there, was nurtured through this program. So what I would say is, the processes are, for young people, is to find that ecosystem, however small it is. Like I found an actors, they can find a students group, they can find one lecturer who is into innovation, and I'm sure there are a lot of those here, and seek for mentorship and advice on these things. So you create your own small ecosystem where your inner innovator can thrive. So I would say that process and other strategies then that come out of the same. Participating in forums like this, discussions like this, in the agri-business trade fair, if you're interested in agriculture or in engineering body groups and so on, then that, I think, ultimately at the end of the day, gives you the knowledge and the exposure that you need to thrive. I would like to say that, talking of ecosystems, there are some faces here that I have to thank. I saw Mr. Ikapel was here earlier, Professor Lizzie is here, I saw Madam Stella, she's somewhere here. Those particular individuals were very key in what we became. And I would like to say this about Platform. Platform is actually a small UoE of sorts, because we are 3 co-founders. We met here, all of us, right? We have 2 others right now working with us from UoE. We are seeking to take 4 attachees from the Department of Agriculture or the School of Agriculture in May. So we will be, in essence, be 9 people from the same university working for the same company, delivering multi-million projects at the proximity of the university. So we are what in the UK they call spin-offs, really, in essence. And we want to grow to such a size that the University of Eldoret can partner with Plasfarm in delivering some of its programs. And Madam Prof talked about technology and the university not having access to it. Private sector and companies like ourselves has access to digital technologies as we speak, and soon we'll have the hardware with us, which is we are now working on building blockchain technologies and hardware and so forth for machine learning and IoT. And we can enable the university to actually use Plasfarm as the first point of contact for these students to contact technology, to see technologies in application in their local ecosystem in real and practical way, in a way that now can bring impact to our communities. So our bigger dream is to be a technology as a service company in the agricultural space, and not that old technology, but the new technology. And as such, we are looking forward to enabling the universities to be able to create more of us. And I hope we can do that in a way that is impactful in the near future.
That's very interesting, really, to note. So I think with this time we'll give the audience also a chance to raise questions, if possibly they have. Oh, there's something.
A change of tact here, so that because we are running out of time, so we are thinking let's have the second session start, and then we'll keep your questions. Then we'll have a general session for question and answer for both teams. I think that way we'll save a lot of time. So we'll request the next lot of moderators, that is Dr. Tuwei and Professor Otieno, to come and take them through.
It's still morning. Good morning. Yeah, I would like to welcome you to this second session of our panel discussion this morning. And this is going to focus on fostering strategic partnerships in the current dispensation. And to help us discuss this, we have 4 panelists, and my co-moderator is Dr. Tuwei, Vivian Tuwei from the Department of Biochemistry, Professor Otieno from the Department of Biological Sciences. So we are going to have the 4 panelists come to the front, and I would like to invite them now. We have Ms. Esther Cherop, if she's already arrived. She hasn't, okay. Then we have Ms. Jacqueline Kotonya. Kindly come to the front. Then we have Mr. Bishar Ali. Kindly come to the front. And then lastly, but not least, we have Mr. Edwin Bett. Mr. Edwin Bett, but I think there's a representative. So, karibu sana. So these are our panelists for today. And like I said, our topic is fostering strategic partnerships in the current dispensation. And the discussions we are going to have are quite important if we look at them in the backdrop of what took place yesterday. Yesterday we had very enlightening presentations. One was on strengthening interinstitutional collaborations in higher education between East and West Africa. And the other one was on collaboration we are going to have as an institution with Life University. So as you can see, these two presentations that we had yesterday, or the discussions that went on yesterday, touched on the University of Eldoret having very strategic partnerships with other institutions or with other universities. So today we expect that our panelists will help us to understand how, as an institution, we can enhance such partnerships now with their organizations in the present world. We know that having partnerships is what moves things in the world that we live in today. And so as an institution, University of Eldoret would like to grow, we would like to develop, and as we enter into partnerships with different organizations, these partnerships will also benefit them in one way or another. So in this discussion, we are going to see how this can happen with the organizations that our panelists represent. So what we are going to do is I'm going to give, just like in the last session, I'm going to give each panelist 1 or 2 minutes to introduce themselves and also tell us something about the organizations. And then thereafter, we are going to follow up with questions. So let's start with Ms. Jacqueline Kotonya.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jacqueline Kotonya. I'm Interim Managing Director for Chemelil Sugar Company. I'm going to give you a brief about our company. Chemelil Sugar Company is located along Awasi Nandi Hills Road, and it's a parastatal that was formed in 1965. We have a nucleus estate where we plant our own cane. It's about 2,200 hectares. This provides only 15% of the cane that we require as a company. So we have slightly over 21,000 outgrower farmers who provide the remaining 85%. Of course, now because they're bringing the cane to the company, we pay them for the cane proceeds. We have people who bring it on their tractors. These are the transporters. We also pay them. Then there are people we call harvesters. In colloquial language, we'll call them obanda. So these are the people who are cutting the cane. These are the people who are cutting the cane. Chemelil Sugar Company has given rise to trading centers that are around the company. So of course, there's the socio-economic growth. We have also established schools, and we have the Chemelil Academy, we have the Chemelil Sugar School. We have also put up what we would call the surrounding community would be able to afford. We have 3 more schools called the B1 school. We have the factory primary school. In addition to that, and in relation to what we are discussing today, we have youth empowerment programs. At the moment, we are partnering with Kitale National Polytechnic in collaboration with GIZ. We have come up with an employment and training vocational program, which will run for 18 months. It's a 50-50 ratio, which rotates on 3 months of these learners in schools, 3 months in the company, so that they can be able to contextualize in an industry environment. We're also taking apprentices in an apprentice program, which runs for 3 months. I think I will talk more as the questions come up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We can go to Mr. Bishar.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bishar Ali, Senior Manager at Absa Bank, sitting in Eldoret. And in this session, I'm sitting in for the regional manager. We are a bank that is located in Eldoret. ABSA Bank is a household name. Is a household bank, and we are so proud to be partners of the University of Eldoret. There's a lot of collaboration that has happened between us and the university, and we don't take that for granted. So we'll be able to discuss more. I know the issues of money. It's quite emotive, but that is the subject of the discussion this morning, and we see how we can be able to partner together and ensure that we are also okay financially. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bishar. Then next we'll have, it's supposed to be Mr. Edwin Bett, but I guess you are representing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Mary Murege. I'm the branch manager at ABSA Eldoret. I'm here to offer moral support to Bishar, whom I took over from just like a month ago. And first of all, I want to congratulate the University of Eldoret on your 10 years anniversary. It's not a mean achievement, and thank you for the collaboration that we have had for the many years as ABSA Eldoret, and we are looking forward to another great season ahead, even as we continue to partner together as we support the future generations, our young people, even as they get into the marketplace. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. Now we'll go straight to the questions, and with reference to our topic of discussion, fostering strategic partnerships in the current dispensation, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Tuwei, to shoot the questions.
Thank you. I think I'll start the first question directed to Jacqueline from Chemelil Sugar Company. Thank you. You've highlighted on the partnerships that you already have, some of them, but could you tell us what could be the partnerships that we could forge together with your company and University of Eldoret, and in general, the sugar industry and universities? Maybe in 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ari. I'll take you briefly through the sugar making technology. Now, when you have sugar cane, 40% of that sugar cane is fiber, what you normally spit out after you chew the cane. It forms 40%. It's called bagasse. So sometimes this bagasse becomes a menace to us. Of course, we are using it in the factory to produce energy in a process called cogeneration. But sometimes it actually becomes a menace to us. We are looking into a process of making something called briquettes from this bagasse. The process is quite finance intensive. We may not, as Chemelil Sugar Company, be able to afford it on our own. So if you would get a partner that would help us to set up a small factory within our premises, this would also impact on the community. It would create jobs. These are briquettes that we would sell that would be able, if worked out, form a revenue for the university and the company. Then also in our process, we produce a lot of wastewater, effluent. We have a system of treating this water. Actually, we have 12 ponds in our industry for water treatment. At the last pond, where now we are releasing the water to the natural water body, we are using this water for irrigation. For us, we use it as furrow irrigation the way it is. The cost implication is very little. But if the university could maybe come in and help us to modernize it so that we would be able to distribute this water to the surrounding community, so that within the drought seasons, October to February, we would be able to get an all year round supply of water for our farmers to be able to now yield more. I don't know about the possibility of coming up with a better technology of water treatment. Ours is purely natural. The only thing we are doing is liming it to adjust the pH so that we'd be able to release most of the ponds. They're quite huge. The area covered is quite extensive, so that we'd be able now to
to maybe even partner with you people to do research on some of our farms on cane development. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I think I'll pose the next question to Mr. Ali. We currently know that the Kenyan currency is on a dip, and how would you, as a bank, revive the people's interest in maybe investing their money with your banks now that we have a number of employees here? Maybe you can shed light a bit on that.
Thank you very much, moderator, for that very hard question, touching on the dollar. And I think it's of public knowledge that currently, in the country, the country is experiencing a shortage of dollar. And ideally, this is not a Kenyan issue. This is a global issue. And there are quite a number of reasons that, that would actually, some of the factors that would actually making us getting to this level. And one of them that is very critical is that, as a country, we are having declining exports. So normally you will have dollar shortages when, the country's net outflows of the USD is actually outweighing the net inflows. So when we have more, having a challenge of the inflows, then that's when we're now seeing the scarcity of the dollars coming in. For our country, of course, we understand we are a middle income country. So we are experiencing some declining exports. So if you don't have more exports, then basically that means we will not have dollars coming in. Some reduced remittances, of course, from the FDI, foreign direct investments, and also, we are seeing less of the remittances of the dollars coming into the country. Of course, this is not only a Kenyan issue, but it's basically a global issue. But just to update you on some of the, some of the factors that would do that. Of course, as a country and globally, we are also we are recovering from the COVID pandemic of the 2020-2021. So most of the economies are now starting to pick up from that. And of course, that has brought in some instability in that particular aspect. Of course, the other thing is we all aware of the Ukraine and the Russia war that is of course, causing in a lot of instability in the global perspective. So that compounded, then as a country and even as banks, we there's already a strain on the dollar currency. Of course, as a banks, and of course we are regulated by the central bank as a regulator, and of course the message out there is that of course the dollars that are there are in customers' accounts. So the bank itself does not have the dollar per se, but of course the funds that are in there are basically customers that deposit. So of course there's a strain in there, and that's why you're seeing in the last 1 week, I think we are at an 8-year low. The dollar rate was actually, plummeted, and we could see, trading at 145, 129, 130 there about, and that trend is there. Of course, this is a temporary situation, depending on how the market is playing. But the beautiful thing is that with the government regulation, and that's why you're even seeing in the last 1 week or so, you're seeing the government is coming in to regulate that space. And that's where you are hearing that, the key markets that are really triggering this are actually the oil, because we import oil from out. So that again has an impact on that. And that's why you saw like a week or so, the government is now coming in to say, how can we even get to government procurement to be able to cushion the Kenyans, especially on the dollar side. So from the LCs and that kind of long-term kind of whatever will allow the country to be able to accumulate the dollar. Remember, these dollars now circulate within the banks, and when we have inflows, those dollars circulating, then that will ease the inflation and the pressure that the Kenyan shilling is currently experiencing. So coming back to your question, how can we be able to revive as banks? How can we be able to bring in the trust? Of course, when there's a crisis like this, it's also an opportunity for people who have, you know, if you are liquid enough from a Kenya shillings perspective. So, and as a bank, we are saying this is the time that you look at even some of the term deposits, some of the facilities, like if you walk into ABSA today, you want to put your money into a term deposit, we are giving you a very favorable rate. So the rates are now very good at the moment. So again, if you have cash, you have liquid, this is not the time to leave those money into some of those transactional accounts. This is the time to walk to Mary's office and you'll be able to get a very good rate for some of the funds. And of course, it's competitive, so we also encourage you. I know we also multi-bank. You can visit our bank, compare our rates. This is the time you can be able to make money out of that. Of course, there are other instruments that as a bank we are having. We have the market, you know, the money market funds. We encourage, you know, our partners, employees who are also here, and you know, our customers just to be able to see how best can they be able to invest in some of the money market instruments that we are having. We can put it into the bonds. We give you very preferential rates right now, and the beautiful thing about some of those bonds, you can actually put into money into a bond and lend against that. So you can actually lend against some of those money that you're putting in there, giving you very preferential rates in there. So we have the ABSA Balanced Fund, we have the ABSA Bond Fund, we have the ABSA Shilling Fund. Those are all instruments where actually if you have money, you can be able to invest in there at this particular moment and be able to make sufficient you know, returns out of them. Remember, the issue of the dollar is quite, you know, it depends on how the country is performing. So again, if we're having scarcity of the dollars, of course, the price of the commodities also go up. You know, some of the consumables, you see the drugs going up. Some of those things, you know, that ideally as a country we import. So of course the CBK is also coming in very well. You see them regulating the interest rates, and that's why, you know, the base rate has been, you know, they've really tried to stabilize it, and that's why even the loan rates that, you know, some employees here who we already have a very strong partnership with the University of Eldoret employees, and through our MOU, you know, the employees can still be able to get the facilities at a rate that is still not really, you know, not going up there. So that is how we can be able to cushion you and give you the comfort that yes, you can still have the trust and to be able to deal with the bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bishar. I would like at this juncture to rope in Mary into the discussion. Your bank is committed to finding solutions to unique local challenges, and you also focus on adding value. So I would like you to tell us what role your bank is playing in supporting young entrepreneurs in the current world that we live in. I know that you do investments in renewable and clean energy. You also support industries, innovation, and infrastructure investment. So how do you bring in young people into all these things that you do as a bank?
Thank you very much for that question. And just before I answer that, just to add on what Bishal has said about the local currency. He has said that Kenya is a net importer, and so this being an institution that is, releasing people into the marketplace, my challenge to you is to ensure that these young people embrace, self-employment in terms of manufacturing. We know China is having challenges currently, and the US markets and the Europe are looking for areas where they can get cheap labor. And in Kenya, I know we have that, but we lack the expertise in terms of being able to manufacture goods that we can export to other countries. So that is a challenge to University of Eldoret. Even as I talk about what we are doing for the young people, at ABSA, we have a very good program that we call Ready to Work. And Ready to Work focuses on the youth from the high school level to colleges, and we prepare them to enter the world of work. So in this program, we have 4 modules, and it's an online program that we even go around universities. I'm not sure whether we have done it at University of Eldoret, but if we have not done it, we will be able to come around and have an engagement with the young people who are here, who are ready to join the marketplace. The skills include work skills. That is the first module, where we train them on how to prepare for work. Which skills do they need? How do they present themselves? How do they identify the right career for themselves? We have seen a number of our youth, especially when they are clearing Form 4, most of them don't know what they will do in college when they join universities. So this module is helping them identify their skills, identify their passion, identify how they are wired to be able to choose the right units, the right career, the right process in terms of the units that they'll take at the university. We also teach them how to prepare their CV. How do you ensure that your CV, is acceptable, is catching, is eye-catching to an employer. The other module that we talk about is money skills, and this is also a challenge to our education system to ensure that money becomes a subject in our schools, in our education programs, because most of us, when we are leaving school, we don't know how to relate with money. So we are teaching them how do you spend, how do you save, and then how do you use credit to your advantage. Most of the things we are told is that loans are not good, don't take loans. But loan is good, debt is good when you use it, like to start an enterprise, when you use it to generate more money, not for consumption. So that is a skill that we are teaching our young people. We also teach them people skills. How do you relate with others? Emotional intelligence. How do you communicate well? Currently, we know, the language out there. Most of our young people don't have the business language. And we are also teaching them now the core of what I started with, entrepreneurial skills. How do we encourage our young people to, when they leave, not to look for jobs, but to become job creators? And these skills, we teach them how do they understand the market, what is the marketplace, what are the players in the market, what are the things that they need to consider before you set on an enterprise, and then how do you set up a business? All these skills we give them, but in addition to that, we have partnered with a number of other partners. I heard you're talking about partnerships. We are also big in partnerships where we are training the young entrepreneurs on the skills. They go into a training for like 6 months, and then they are handed over to ABSA, where we take them through, and if their ideas are bankable, we can be able even to offer them startup finance. So in a nutshell, that is what we are doing for the youth.
We move to Jacqueline. Just a follow-up to what you've just said. This is a very good program that you have. But then if the students here, probably they would like to know, how do they get into it? What's the procedure?
Okay, to join the ABSA Ready to Work program, you go to our website, absabank.co.ke, and then Ready to Work. You enroll. The program is open for all those who are below that 5 years. You enroll there, and then you do the modules. After each module, there is an exam. You do an exam, and then you get a certificate. That is something you can be able actually to put in your CV to just show that you have gone through a training. So absabank.co.ke /ready to work.
Thank you. Jacqueline, could you tell us if your company has maybe a research and development unit? Because we are looking at a possibility of having collaborative research grants with maybe partnering with universities. so that the researchers who are here can look at also that aspect in terms of partnership.
We do research in our agronomy section, where we are doing a lot on cane development in terms of the yield, in terms of the fertilizers, herbicides. So what we are doing right now, we are working in collaboration with Sugar Research Institute, but we are open to new ideas because Chemelil zone is actually, the larger part of Chemelil zone is under indigenous cane varieties, where the yields are low, the sucrose content in this cane is low. So we are moving towards more modern varieties that have high sucrose content, and it takes a lower time to mature, where we are moving from 18 to 21 months to mature to maybe 13 to 15 months maturity. So that is the research that is going on right now. We are moving to increasing the productivity. So where maybe, I think Professor might guide me on this, I'm not an agriculturalist, where we were planting 1 foot of seed cane, we are now moving to what we are calling single eye bud. That is the kind of research that we are doing right now. We are open to more ideas to improve our productivity in as far as cane development is concerned.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, and I'm sure everyone has gotten that information for exploration. Maybe this goes to both Mr. Ali and Mary from APSA. Could you maybe tell us if there is a problem or a challenge that you have as a bank, but you would wish the university can come in to solve such a problem? So it could be in the way you work or something like that, because we have here young innovators, different disciplines, but I don't know if it's there, but you could tell us what you would wish us to come as a partner in solving some problem, but again, an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, the university would really come in very strongly. Of course, what we realize that as a financial institution, issues of financial literacy is very key, and because we realize that as a prudential, as a prudent bank, it's also our obligation to be able to educate our customers, very well in terms of from our financial obligation. So one way that we do that is that as a university, we can be able to do this because we're already doing this with other institutions. We already have a very strong partnership with the Strathmore University in Nairobi. Of course, that is in Nairobi. So bringing it home here, I think there's an opportunity for us to be able to say, how can we be able to work with our scholars? First, what we are basically doing is that when it comes to, say, the young entrepreneurs, some of the incubator programs that we are running, we are currently doing that in collaboration with with the scholars, so we can always tap into that side and see how can we be able to allow the university run with some of the programs that would actually empower our customers going forward. So we do that very well from an incubator point of view. There's also an opportunity from the accelerator point of view, where we take these people through some cohorts, and that can only be done by academicians, and so that is a partnership that I think going forward we should be able to see how can we be able to build that up going forward. Of course, there's the bit of the innovation. This is very critical. As a bank, technology is coming in very handy right now. So especially the young students and all those who are really interested in coming up. As we speak right now, we already have a department that taps into that kind of skills from young people. So we can always bring them on board. They come up with some of these ideas, especially on the digital bit. You realize that banking right now is digital. Everything is happening in the digital. There's a lot of information in the digital, and that is being championed by young people. So I think there's an opportunity in there. we encourage the young, especially the students who are coming up in their career. They can be able to develop interest in that particular area. And of course, there's an opportunity for us to be able to absorb them, to be able to accelerate on that space. So it's there in place and the opportunity is there. Thank you.
Yeah, just to add on what Michelle has said, we have a very an award-winning program with the women in business. We call it She Stars Academy, where we are focusing on or targeting to reach about 1,500 women, where we are giving them various skills as far as running their businesses are concerned. We know the challenges that women face in most of the spheres of life, whether it's politics, whether it's in business, whether it is, I don't know whether in the academia we have the same problem. Maybe we don't. But we have partnered with, as he says, Strathmore Business School. We have a partnership with USIU, United States International University. And yeah, University of Eldoret have an opportunity to bring that down into the county level from Nairobi and be our partners in ensuring that we are able to impact this knowledge to grow our entrepreneurial skills among the young people, as well as the women and even the men of this county.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to add, before we get out of that, as a bank, we're also very keen from a climate perspective. So our aspiration is to be able to grow 10 million trees in the next 5 years. So what is just coming into my mind is that, University of Eldoret is also very big in that area. There's a way we can be able to partner, because we say we want to green the environment. As an institution, I'm sure we can be able to collaborate on that. Right now, we have a partnership with the Anglican Church. But there's an opportunity for University of Eldoret as coming in and see how can we even have these seedlings. We buy it locally, we nurture it together, educate from an academic point of view, so that people understand it. So that's a partnership that we can be able to work on as we go along. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to direct this question to Jacqueline. It's good to know that as an organization you are conducting research. Now my question would be, are you partnering with any universities at the moment in the research that you're doing? And if not, are there opportunities, for example, for University of Eldoret to enter into partnership with your institution so that we can see how we can work together to come up with probably new varieties of cane and that kind of thing? I don't know if you are in partnership with any institutions right now, or if not, then is that an opportunity for us?
We don't have any partnerships with any academic institutions right now. We are partnering with the Sugar Research Institute for provision of new seed cane varieties. Of course, like I had said, that we are open. We are open to any other institution that would want to partner with us. And I forgot to say that we have a byproduct that is arising from our juice filtration process. It's called filter mud. Now, this filter mud is very high in nutrients, mostly potassium. For us as an organization, we only put it in our fallow fields and give it time to, what's the word, Prof? To mature, because when you use it immediately, it would burn the cane. So it's an opportunity also, I would think, that to commercialize that product. Yeah, because bulk of it is organic matter, which is mud, but it is very high in nutrients. So yes, we are open. We are open to a partnership on research, to answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
So we would want to open up the question time to the audience, and I think also the other participants in the first session will also get an opportunity. Maybe you can come to the front as well.
Thank you very much, my colleagues here who are moderators. You can see we have a new face that has joined the panelists. So we'll ask him to briefly introduce himself and tell us about his institution, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Seth Willie Ogutu from the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Eldoret chapter. I am a director at the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce in charge of agribusiness. There's a reason why we call it agribusiness. I'm sitting here representing the chairman of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Willie Kenei. He was supposed to be here, but he's chairing the committee which is in charge of conferment of Eldoret to be a city. So he asked me to come, and I believe I'm as capable as him. Thank you very much.
Very much. Now we'll take this opportunity for people to ask their questions and be very clear who the question is directed to. We'll take a round of about 3, then have responses, and then another round, and then now look at how we shall move forward after that. So I'll request Dr. Aria to help us. So let's have maybe a round of 3, and then I can see one hand over there, number 1, then Dr. Mwasi 2, Dr. Mwakwali 3, maybe another. Let's ask those ones first. Be clear on who the question is directed to, please.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. My name is Calvin. Also familiar faces in here. I'd like to direct one question to Madam Jacqueline. What quantity are we looking at in Matters Burgers? Looking at it from an entrepreneurial perspective, I'd like to know, is it economical viable for me to get up a unit? Maybe just do a small unit for making the briquettes themselves, and also make some good chunks of money out of it. One thing for Mr. Stephen, a good friend of mine always says this, and I quote him, and this is interesting. He says, the potential of Africa's agriculture and its productivity, the productivity and its potential, sorry about that, is unmatched. And so what is the future of agriculture? And I think this is in line with the theme's topic, agri-tech, and some robots, something robotics, IoT, smart data, and the likes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My first question goes to Mongela, and I'm impressed by your profile, or I call it your verbal CV. And I'm asking you, you've gone through our program and probably seen other programs in the university. And I want you to be very bold and candid and tell us, because we are the ones who produced you, what do you think can be tweaked in our curriculum, delivery, partnerships, so that we mainstream the process which produced you, so that we can produce more of you. Then my other question goes to Jacqueline. I think these briquettes and bagas, I've had it for the last 20 years since we were in Moi, And I'm sure right now, it should be production time. Universities are very cash-strapped, but there's a lot of money in the low-cost housing program, and probably you could partner with us. We have actually a block making machine lying idle out here. We bring it down to your place. All that our engineering people should do is give us the ratios of bagasse to ash and whatever we want to use, and produce and sell to the government so that we can make money for the university. So probably if anybody from engineering, probably should be having an answer and try to link up with Jacqueline and see whether that is possible. Thank you.
Dr. Makwali, ask your question. And this is to everybody who wants to ask a question. Just be direct. No stories and such and background information, so that we save time.
Thank you for gagging me. My name is Dr. Makwali. I'm the gender director. And first and foremost, I would like to thank the panelists today for coming. I've learned a lot. I'm happy that ABSA Bank is not all about money. You have other programs, and I think I'll reach out. I've heard about women empowerment issues and what you're doing for our women. So I'll be reaching out to you. Thank you very much. I'm very much interested in what Mongela is doing. Congratulations, we are proud to be your mentors. And mine is just to say, I think you need to be coming more often to your alma mater to talk to other students. And I would also like to tell the other students that chance happens to a prepared mind. So I think you had a prepared mind to be able to do what you're doing. My question is, what opportunities are there for our students in your company, and where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Thank you.
Okay, we'll handle those. So maybe, Ms. Kotonya, you can handle all the questions that were directed to you first, then we'll go to Stephen and finally come to the ABSA group.
Okay, to answer the question about the quantities of bagasse, in a given year we do about 820,000 tons of sugarcane. So 40% of that would be 20,500 tons of bagasse. Now, the kind of briquettes we were talking about is the firewood briquettes, seeing as dry bagasse has 17,000. The calorific value is 17,000 kilojoules per kilogram. Now, I will tie that to, I don't know whether it was a comment. We would love for you to bring your machine down to Chemelil. We would be willing to work with you. We have enough space. Probably the only thing that would come up, because you are government to government, is to work out on the what? On the MOU as required. Yes. So for the businessman, is 20,500 sufficient? Okay, thank you.
Stephen can take the mic now.
Thank you very much for your interest in what we do. I had a question about the future of agriculture, and I think talking of the potential and productivity as is right now, being unmatched and insufficient, I think the future of agriculture is in efficiency. Simple as that, just efficiency. I don't think we are getting any additional land, but I believe that productivity as is right now is very low, and we can reach an optimum efficiency level. How do we do that is the question, which brings me to the issues that Prof raised in the morning about the application of smart agriculture and all the other technologies. And I have to mention the future of agriculture in Africa is very different from the future of agriculture in Europe and other places. And I have these conversations a lot in forums where our African agricultural systems look different, very different from other world agricultural systems. And therefore, in Africa, it's efficiency not just in technologies, but efficiency in cooperation between either farmers to farmers and other industry players, which is at its lowest, I think. It's very low. So cooperation between farmers and cooperation between industries in agriculture sector particularly is the future of agriculture in Kenya. And I mean the near future, not even like 10, 20 years or so forth. It's in the 3-4 years. And right now, we are in that phase of collaboration where we are now working with UK companies, we are working with other startup companies, and now we are reaching out to researchers and research institutions. And last week, and Strathmore has been mentioned a lot here. Last week we had a visitor from Strathmore University, and they are looking into partnering with us, which is kind of weird, in rolling out small and testing some of their programs in this North Rift region, and that sort of reaching out to collaborate and to partner, I think, will improve efficiency, which is now the future of agriculture. I think I answered that with a very long answer, but it's very important. What can we do to produce more of us? Interesting. I would say this, yeah? I think, and this worries me sometimes, and I traveled 2 weeks ago. I was in South Africa with Prof. Lizzie, and we discussed this, and we had a very heated debate on how can we build an innovation ecosystem in Eldoret, and how can we then tap into the resources that are particularly in universities in Eldoret, because the biggest resources for me are in the universities that are here. We have very experienced people, exposed professors here that don't give, or rather never get the opportunity to give us young people their wisdom, their experience. And therefore, right now, to build that ecosystem, we have to build the collaboration and platforms like this, where we get this mentorship, and then we can build ourselves. And an ecosystem is not buildings, it's not institutions, it's the people themselves and the spirit that those people wield, which is now what we have to build in more young people. And thinking about having few students here, and I was a student, we need to be pushed. Most of the time we don't even know what's best for us, honestly speaking. We need to be pushed, and therefore, to even get them through that door, need to be a pushing mechanism of every school having the mandate to bring at least 5 young people into this room, to tap into this wisdom that is being spoken here. And for me, that is, some of it is why I'm here. And I mentioned earlier that there are people that really pushed us to be able to do this. And you asked about what opportunities are in our company for young people from the university. I have mentioned that Plasfarm is really a University of Eldoret spin-off, where right now almost everyone working there, I think 95% is from University of Eldoret. We are taking attachees, and someone at the university is also telling attachees to apply, so we have a lot of them coming to us. So we are also taking attachees from the university and so on. And we are looking into supporting projects carried out by university students. So if there are university students carrying out agribusiness projects, we are willing to treat them like one of our own and give them the necessary support that they need. Where do I see Plasfarm in the next 10 years? I see Plasfarm in different African countries, and that's the plan, for us to spread all over Africa. In the next 2 to 3 years, we will be in at least 40 counties, because right now we are in at least 12 counties. Well, depends on who is asking. I was asked exactly the same question, but mostly we are not very, and maybe our lecturers in the School of Business should probably come up with the formula of how we value our startups, because we're using Silicon Valley valuation standards, which are very, very unfair. But I would say someone offered us 7.5 or 7.5 of the company, so the valuation of us is 100 as we speak. We don't know. Our cash flows, according to our formulas, our cash flows show that our worth is double that. But the next few years will be very interesting to answer that particular question of, because cash flows, as we say in the business world, is king. Yes. So I would say that in the next 10 years, we want to be a company, a partner of farmers in commercializing their farms. And when he talked about the dollar not flowing into the country, we are playing a small part of bringing those dollars back through remittances, because now young people are investing in agricultural projects through us. So we are also doing it the best we can at these hard times.
Thank you. I'll have just one more round, because I was told tea was ready some time ago, and lunch is also going to be ready, and it is cold, and I believe people want to keep warm. So I'll take one round and then hand over to Dr. Tuwei.
Hello?
Just wait, I'm still on the, I'm just going to give you the chance. Oh, there is a panelist who wants to add something, and then now I can ask for
Yes, I just feel like I need to talk about my organization, so that maybe I can also receive some questions. So that they come in pairs.
It is okay.
If you may allow me, please.
Yes.
Now, as I told you, I'm from the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And maybe I would just take 2 minutes to tell you what we do. First, this is a collection of businessmen across the county, across the country, and across the world. So basically what we do is to, maybe I'll talk what is relevant here. As a person in charge of agriculture, I would also maybe want to say, or the entire program. We at the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce actually connect businesses and business ideas. And I'll just go straight to say what we've done for the last maybe 5 years. As you're speaking now, we are running a program, an internship program, together with the Uasin Gishu County government. We have an internship program of 300 students who the county government actually was attaching them to all the businesses which are in Eldoret, mainly agriculture, so that the county, from university, the county government actually pays for your stipend. That program was there, that you are attached so that you can be able to practice your knowledge. Because if you come out here and you're just looking for a job, you might not get. But the moment you are sent to a company which is relevant to your training, you'll be able to be absorbed there. And as we are speaking, 75% have already been absorbed by those companies. This is a way of transferring technology. Now, before COVID 2018, through these programs, we were able to send 80 students to China for 1 month, paid for, so that they would visit around 5 cities, visit these companies, and see what the Chinese are doing that we are not doing. As he said, he talked about efficiency. There they are talking about precision agriculture. You don't lose even a single seed. You don't just plant, you get planters which are wasting a number of seeds, but it's so precise that even the distance between these two, maybe if it's maize, it's supposed to be so precise, and the soil and everything. And I know the professors are here to know about it. So that's what they went to do. And also they went to also see other machines which are working. We have seen people innovate machines here, but what are the standards? How precise are they? How efficient are they? So for our students and for students all over the country, they are able to benchmark and see this. And for that matter, we, as Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, entered into an arrangement or a partnership with Moi University for research and also to bridge the gap between academics and practice. Because we've noticed students are going, they're going for internship or they're going to start working, but the curriculum there might be some difference in the curriculum. So we are bringing the universities together with what is already in the field, and these are collaboration to marry what is there. Another aspect is we had 10 students going to German to study and also see what they are doing that we are not doing, so that also there's this transfer of technology. They went, visited 16 companies, including Mercedes-Benz, where there, as we talk of CBC, at secondary level, people are already attached. People are already visiting these companies. Like, for example, University of Eldoret should already be collaborating with maybe Toyota Kenya to build a plant here, or Isuzu, so that when people come out of a class, they go straight away to see how those engines are assembled. It is one-on-one. You are not taught for 4 years, then you go out there looking for employment. You can actually practice and innovate and improve on those engines right at school level when you're still very fresh with your lecturers. So I think there are so many things in innovation. As we are speaking last year, with collaboration with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, you understand that there are 4 students who won 120 million from St. Paul's University, and they were able to do their innovations and they were able to present them, and they won that money. And I think there's so much that is happening out here that we can be able to collaborate with the University of Eldoret. We came here some time back and we are looking of ways to partner. We're already partnering with RVTTI in terms of TVETs across the country and across the world. Because what we are seeing is that we need to open and begin commercializing some of the inventions that are already there. And the best thing is to get people who can be able to fund these innovations. People who can be able now to commercialize the small things that our university students are doing. Once they are convinced that it can be able to solve 1 or 2 problems to do with the food production, they are saying we can actually commercialize this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think we need to move very fast. There was somebody who had a burning question there. Then I'll ask Professor Chuodo. Any other, because I'm closing it. Then I can see one hand there, I think Mulindi, and then the other one. And then finally, here.
Okay, thank you. I think I go first because I'm holding the mic. My question goes to Mwangela. I hope I got your name right. 2 questions. One, what drove you exactly? Was it the money that you thought you were going to get from what you're doing? Or was it a problem, a social problem that you identified? And therefore, assuming that you didn't get the money, but you were able to solve a problem, would you have continued doing what you're doing? That's my first question. Second question.
Let's make it one question because of time.
It's a
please.
short one. It's a very short one.
Make
I just want him to address us as his lecturers on what we should do or can do better in developing creativity of our students and helping them grow, have growth mindsets. What should we do, or what can we do better as lecturers with our students in and out of class? Thank you.
Thank you. Make it short and just one question, please.
Okay. Very short. Mine is direct to Chemelil Sugar Company. We would like to have a collaboration with the Chemelil Sugar Company in the areas Madam MD mentioned. Because of one, my boss has already directed we should collaborate with them. I'm from Department of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering. Two, we did some small study on use of industrial waste and bagasse. The results are on the certificate. We would like to escalate it. Then second last is that we've seen an opportunity at Chemelil Sugar Company, which maybe you didn't mention. You've got a lot of natural grass, which we could use to blend maize stovers for feeding animals. So, and last, we are undertaking a study on use of bagasse and tea estate wastes to make briquettes, but we are stuck somewhere. So we think we could collaborate and do it much better. Thank you.
So you want some money?
No, we will discuss at that stage.
Next.
But if we are given money, it is not bad.
Thank you very much. I think I'm really happy, especially with the last presenter on engineering precision. It's an area where I have a lot of interest, being the lecturer in that particular area at the university. And many a times we have issues. We actually lack places where we can be able to take our students to. And really we welcome collaboration with Chamber of Commerce to be able to even get some of this equipment, to be able to procure some of this equipment, which will make teaching more practical, especially on actually the spatial kind of operations that are required in this technology. It is actually, we are tired of actually applying 2 bags of fertilizer per acre. We want to apply as per demand of every locality. We know that our soils are not necessarily isotropic and homogeneous. It varies from point to point. So we want to do spatial farming. And for us to be able to do that, there are certain equipment that we really require. We even have issues. Sometimes we lack maybe adequate ability to be able to visit the few farms in Uasin Gishu where they practice precision agriculture. I'm talking of Kili's farm and the Musungu here, the Kruger. Actually, those are the 2 farms that we have around and Bolboit. And many a times, our students are learning theory. We would wish to even strengthen the teaching by having the practicals. So we really invite collaboration with Chamber of Commerce. Chemelil, I'm encouraged that you are doing, you are actually thinking of using, or you have been using sewage effluent from your treatment plant. Only I didn't get to know whether you have been testing the effluent standards in terms of BOD5, in terms of suitability for irrigation, and the kind of crops that you are growing using the effluent from your treatment plant. And this is an example of something that can be done by the other sugar companies in Kenya, so that we utilize all the resources to improve our food production. I think I'm encouraged by that, and we are happy. Finally,
make it short, please.
I'll make it very short.
Yeah.
This one has to do with the Directorate of Research and Innovation at the University of Eldoret. There is an area that the guest speaker emphasized yesterday, which I thought was an opportunity that before she leaves, I think you should actually engage her. There is a new area which is going to strengthen and revolutionize research, not only in our university, but in the whole of Africa, the area of machine learning and data science, which she emphasized that was our field. And I felt like if there was going to be a collaboration between our Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, we could strengthen that area of machine learning and even have postgraduate. It's not 1 or 2 students, former students of this place from that department who have asked me whether we are offering an MSc degree in data science and machine learning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's have the last question. Tonui.
Thank you very much. My question is directed to Moses.
from Kenya Climate and Innovation Center. You talk about renewable energy. And my question is, how can we collaborate with your institution on research on renewable energy? Because renewable energy is very wide. We have solar, we have got wind, we have got biomass. So briefly tell us how we can collaborate, especially when it comes to the consumer renewable energy devices. Like, for example, solar thermal collectors. We have got two technologies. One is evacuated tube, the other one is flat panel. And the capacity is about 150 liters, and it's costing almost 100 and something Kenya shillings. If you are a family of two, we need to scale down those systems so that it become cost effective to the small families. Thank you very much.
There was Professor Chuodo, I'll make it very short, and then I'll allow the panelists to, I know there are several hands up there, but time can't just allow. So I'll ask our Professor Chuodo, be brief.
How to be short.
Please, try.
But I know time is against us. I want to stand here because I want to address many people. Thank you very much, our panelists. It is. No, I want them to see me, and I also want the students to also hear me. Thank you very much. I want to start with my bank, Mr. Bishar. I am your long-serving client, so look at me very well. But that is not the point. The point is, why is the bank carrying out activities that are not core to them, like handling incubations? I'm asking that because we here at the University of Eldoret have established an incubation center that is handling agribusiness incubations. My friend here may not know, but we are doing that. And we have started it using a project. Funders from outside. That money is not enough. Currently we have 84 incubators here, and we are handling only 3 agribusiness value chains: fisheries, mushroom, and dairy. These are very popular value chains in this area. I only have those 84 because they are sponsored. But the funding will only be given to 50% of them, meaning the other 50%, we have got no funds for them. Could the bank come in and also assist with funding the incubation process and also funding these incubators once we roll them out so that they can develop their businesses? We have both the dreamers who started like him, who are really giving us a lot of difficulties because they change almost every day. Today they have this idea, tomorrow they have a different one. And we are told that is the way the youth are. So we keep on running after them and telling them, now which idea do you have? Can we develop it further? But tomorrow again they come with another one. But we also have accelerators, those who already have agribusinesses, but they want funding. So we can only fund 50% of these guys. Can you come in and fund the rest? KCIC, we already have a memorandum of understanding with KCIC. Those of us who are asking for collaboration, I know we have several areas that we listed down that we are going to collaborate with them. But my challenge has been to them, they are just by our gate here. They have empty offices and desks. I'm not belittling you. The University of Eldoret, who are your neighbor, have personnel, equipment, labs, etc., etc. Could we collaborate much more so that we do not duplicate things just next door? We can fertilize each other and synergize. Chemelil, Mr. Odero, who is your agronomist, was our student here. I will not say anything much about him because I can say something else. But what I wanted to say is that sugarcane breeding has been moving very slowly in this country, and most of the varieties that we have are actually imported from India and the rest. We have very efficient breeding methods in this university. This lady sitting here. We use mutation breeding, we use faster methods of variety development. So we are talking about engaging you. I hope our DVC is going to talk about collaboration maybe with you and others here. We hope that we can get involved in variety development of sugarcane.
Professor Chua, I think those are enough.
I am about to finish.
Those
I am
are
about to finish. Only one more. Only one more. And the other problem that you have with sugarcane, and this is one of the reasons why there is low productivity of sugarcane, there is no seed. There is poor seed production in sugarcane. Again, you can collaborate with us so that we can do something about that. Lastly, I want to come to our young guy here.
Can you say it in 1 second?
Yes, I want to ask you to be one of our mentors. Yes, because you are still young. The people that we have are youths. They understand your language. You also understand their language. They might not understand mine very well. So we'll come to you and we collaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now let's have the panelists respond to the questions that were thrown to them. And we'll start from the right, from the far end. Chamber of Commerce, I don't know if there was a question to you, then come this way. And I would request you to just be brief because we want to give you some time to give us a parting shot and then we break off for tea/lunch.
Someone asked what drove me, and I would say it's a combination of things really. We wanted to travel and use the school bus more, and so did we. But really, we were also looking into finding, we were just curious to know whether there is more to life than just, studying and getting a career. So we wanted more. I think, and that anger is what the prof is talking about, us jumping up and down, finding something that is meaningful. So we were really finding for meaning, and we seem to have found it. If it was not for the money, would I still do it? Yes. I think we bootstrapped for a very long time without the money. So if it was just for the money, we would have stopped a long time ago. What can lecturers do? I strongly believe that, like I mentioned, you are nurturing talents here. Therefore, you're building characters, you're building people. And therefore, even in the classroom, it's very important to always encourage that curiosity that we have, because we have a lot of it. And I know people have different teaching methodologies. Some of them don't like questions and don't like to be questioned. Others like to encourage that. So I would like to encourage us to move towards encouraging that curiosity and nurturing those questions that come from us, because I strongly believe we were very, very active in different platforms, and we asked questions, we asked for help and support, for sponsorship and so forth, to be able to attend an event and so forth. And when young people realize that there is a lecturer that does that, they always storm there. And the more there are, the more young people we've been nurturing as a university. So I can see that lecturers have to do better, and obviously be very, very exposed as well. There's a lecturer, the engineer, mentioned something about data science and machine learning. There's a very big conversation going on right now about ChatGPT, which I don't know whether you're familiar with, but if you're not, please do, because it's about to take some jobs and give others. And in research, and especially in the startup world, we're using ChatGPT to do research a lot. And it has the capacity to browse the internet and resources at very high speed and give me exactly the same thing. So you might be right now marking work coming from generated by ChatGPT, and I'm sorry I'm snitching on students right now. So it's important for lecturers to be moving the same speed with young people. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. Ms. Kotonya, try to be brief.
Okay. There's something about research on agriculture. Yes, I said there's a lot of potential on research, and we are open. Please bring us your proposals. We are ready to work with you. We are ready to collaborate. On briquettes, again, please give us your proposal. We can have technology transfer. We know how to do it, but we are also cash strapped. So you did not come out clearly whether you needed money from us or from the institution that you're in. On our effluent, we are testing. We don't only do it internally, but we take it to the government chemist to test it for us. And we are, as part of compliance, we are submitting our results of tests to NEMA on quarterly basis. So we are complying with that. We are using it for irrigation for our nucleus estate, for our sugarcane, and we're also encouraging employees to do intercropping within our nucleus estate of leguminous plants, so that at least they can also get back from us. We're also doing this as extension services to our grower farmers, because sugarcane, the indigenous crop, is taking 18 months. So meanwhile, they can get subsistence and they can get a source of revenue from intercropping with the legumes. On productivity of sugarcane, yes, it is true, it has been slow. The government of Kenya is encouraging us to go for the high-yielding varieties and the early maturing varieties. So far, the government of Kenya has installed cane testing units in 9 sugar millers. The aim is to encourage farmers to adopt these varieties. So it is a program that is ongoing. We hope that as we are bulking for our farmers, these early varieties, the more modern varieties, the adoption will be faster. We are also encouraging the university to collaborate with us on terms of productivity, in terms of sugarcane. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I'll just go straight to your concern on incubators. And the good question was, why are banks involved in incubators rather than concentrating on their core? What as a bank we're basically saying is that ideally we need to nurture these young entrepreneurs. So we are basically saying that the startups, we have to support them. So what we are basically saying is that as a bank, we cannot be able to do it alone. So we are basically bringing in now the other partners who are coming in. And Prof, just to say that, we are ready to get into that conversation so that we can also do the same, especially on the agribusiness bit. That's a bit that it's really captured my mind, because we have it under the women proposition, where we are saying we have the, these incubators, these accelerators that are there. We are saying, we're basically taking you through a training, and we are saying that women probably don't have collaterals to start with. So we are saying once you've gone through the incubation period, then we are willing to lend to you even without a collateral, and just to be able to build up. So on the agribusiness space, yes, we have a fully fledged department that is on the agribusiness wing. And from a value chain perspective, I think there's an opportunity for us to bring in University of Eldoret, who are the market leaders on the agriculture space, so that we can be able to see how can we even bring in these people who are in the incubators, take them through, even lend to them for a start, and see how they can be able to grow. So we'll pick that up, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to add, we have partnered with Melanine Capital. They're the ones who do the training, and they take, they said, applications to join that program. After 5 months, there are businesses that are pre-selected and shared with APSA, which now we assess for funding. Also to note that as APSA, we have also partnered with African Guarantee Bank, where they guarantee some of the loans that we give to our clients, just to ensure that we don't cut off anyone just because they don't have any tangible collateral. So we are going the partnership way, and I believe that is the way to go for all of us, just to partner to ensure that we are able to offer solutions to our people and to make this country, a world-class country.
Let me address the last comment by Prof. On the collaboration, and I think we signed the MOU towards the end of the year, and I know given this year we will have more engagement, and this will be on areas of dairy. Last year we took clients to Naivasha, you can imagine all the way, and we can do everything here. We took clients to Sagana for fisheries training, because we tried to assess the fisheries here, and it could not accommodate the other clients from Kisumu, Kisii, etc. So I think this year we are going to have more activities and engagements with the university and the AMS. The first question on renewable energy, I will say this one depends on the need, and we are looking at the domestic, industrial and the business needs. The main area we focus on renewable energy is trying to help businesses reduce their cost of production. So if we are financing a business and maybe they were suggesting things like generators, we opt to go solar. If they are looking for water pumps, instead of going electric generator, we go solar water pumps, etc. So I think it's an area that it's lengthy in discussion, and we will get on that in future if there is an engagement. And then on the last one, which is on the brigates with Chemelil and the university, in case there are some ways we can get in the loop, I think it will be an interesting area to see where KCAC can come in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we'll end there with the questions. I believe our panelists are going to have tea with us, so they're available for any further discussion. Please don't leave before you get something, and also interact one-on-one with some of the people in the audience here. So I'll hand over to Dr. Tuwei to finish off this session.
Thank you. I think I think we can all agree that we can continue with this discussion because we've not explored everything. Just in 1 minute, give us a parting shot for the discussions that we've had on commercialization of research and also on strategic partnerships. Yeah, just in 1 minute. And we'll start from the far right.
At the end of the day, when we retire at home, we need something to eat. And there are innovators around and there are brains around. And there are people who are ready to commercialize agriculture. All we need to do is to combine, to connect these brains with the people who want to commercialize. People want to make profit out of your brain and feed the people who need the food. Thank you.
Okay, I think as a team leader in my company, I'm the #1 salesperson. Therefore, for all your farm management services, please get in touch with us. We can outsource for you services and products in real time. I would like to say that it's an immense pleasure for me to be back and for me to be able to talk about these particular subjects that are very dear to my heart, and I'm very happy to continue being a common presence here and to continue also further my education so that I'm not just a mister. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to say that Chemelil Sugar Company, being a food industry company, we are concerned with food security, and we are willing to partner with you for productivity to meet even the objectives of this government. Thank you.
Thank you. For us as a bank, we are saying, even as whatever we are discussing here, at the end of the day, there's the issue of the money. There's something that you need in your pocket. It's something that you need to grow as an individual, even as you sit here, even as we deliberate on how we can make this country great. So as a bank, we are saying we have all the products for you. You feel free to walk to us. If you need to have a house, we can give you a facility and an affordable housing program. We give it at a rate of 9.5%. Please walk to our branch. If you want your insurance in place, we have insurance endowment policies that we can give you. If you're an entrepreneur here, you're talking about growing, we are saying we can support you, we can mentor you, we can grow with you and be able to make sure that you grow. From a partnership perspective, we are ready. We appreciate that, every time we have this session with the university, we are invited in. We don't take it for granted, and we want to see more of us growing together, the bank and also the institution. So thank you so much.
Yeah, at ABSA we talk about Africanacity, and Africanacity is our, African way, our unique African way of always finding a way to get things done. And that is what I think the whole of these 2 days has been about, finding solutions to our own problems as Africans. And University of Eldoret and the education system is really playing a great role in research, in finding solutions to our problems. And as ABSA, we are here to just assure you that we will partner with you. We will be able to walk the talk with you to ensure that Africa becomes, the first world, the economy to watch, and we stop relying on the first world, because we have the solutions to our own unique challenges. So thank you for having us here. We really appreciate, and we look forward to many more of these and more collaborations as we go ahead.
Coming from KCIC, a social development organization supporting businesses, whether it's a CBO, SME, or startup businesses that are in climate adaptation and mitigation, we want to say happy anniversary to the university, and to mention that we run a number of programs that support businesses, whether you are in renewable energy, agri-businesses, water management, waste management, and agroforestry. And we also do competitions. One of our main competition that we run is Vijana na Agribis, which it's done annually, and a winning party gets a maximum of 1 million to commercialize their ideas. We also support in running Climate Launchpad. Our availability is online. We are on Twitter, LinkedIn. We also run a website, and we are also available just across the road here at the AMS. From the experiences that we've gotten for the last 2 years, most businesses, startups, CBOs lack 3 or so main things. That's they lack the skill to do the actual business they're doing, or either they lack how they can access information, or they also lack funds. And all that can be solved through research, which is the thematic thing for the university this season. So we're asking more businesses to carry out research. And to students, the main thing that will guide you, we can talk about motivation, patience, and networking. Thank you so much.
Thank you, our invited panelists. Let's clap for them. Thank you for your time and participation. And at this point, I think I'll invite Dr. Otieno so that he makes the closing remarks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Tway. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've had a very engaging session, and there's a lot that has come out, which shows that the opportunity for us as an institution to partner with many people, many organizations, not just the ones who are here. And so I believe that going forward, we are going to see that happen. And I believe the DVC is going to talk about that. But my coming here is to just give a vote of thanks to all of us. Let me start with our panelists. Thank you so much for responding and coming to share your thoughts with the University of Eldoret. We are grateful for all the ideas that you've given us on how we can partner with you people. And I think going forward, we are going to see a lot of things happening in this institution. I would also like to give thanks to the audience, all of us who've taken time to come and attend this session today. Without you, this wouldn't have happened, and so we are so grateful that you took time to come and be here. Also, the organizers of this event, thank you so much. I think it's been a very enlightening for all those who've participated beginning yesterday. There are a lot of things that we've learned, and I believe this is going to help us quite a lot. So all in all, we give thanks to Almighty God for making this possible, and without him, I don't think we would have managed to get where we are today. So thank you so much, and may God bless you. I'd like to invite Professor Aburu.
I think Professor Don has closed because thanks is given when we are over. So I don't know whether I can continue, Prof. You've given me a knockout. Eh? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm very happy because of this. And just want to thank Professor Lizzie Mwamburi very much and the team because this conference had a particular theme, and the issues we are talking about yesterday and today are our major themes that we want to inculcate in us. As our division, our main concern is research and extension. We're also in charge of these collaborations and partnerships. We're in charge of resource mobilization. We are also in charge of IGU, income generation. So the issues we are talking about, I know some of us lecturers, we like to be in our cocoons, eh? And you may think some of these things are irrelevant. But there's a lot going on in our division, and a lot going on that benefits the lecturers and also the students. And we have not put a lot of emphasis on them. And this conference, we really wanted to convert all of us to work differently. Work differently so that we can develop ourselves, we can develop our students, we can develop our university, we can develop our country. And that's the essence of these partnerships. This year at our division, and particularly the the Division of Research and Innovation, and also industrial linkages, partnerships and collaborations, we are focusing on industry. The university partnership with industry. And so our colleagues being here is not a coincidence. It is something that is planned and something that we want to go into deeply. And colleagues, we want to encourage you to come out. I think the division which has been so lonely is our division. You can ask our directors, very lonely. Because the things that we want to do them for the people, and the people don't know that there's something we want to do for them, and so they don't come out. We have these structures like school research committees who are supposed to link all the schools and all these directorates. Not much has been going on, and we want to break that during these 10 years. The new 10 years we are beginning now, that we have started from the 12th of March, we want to do things differently. And we would like all of us to participate because the structures are there. The problem with Kenya in all spheres, at the national level, even here, we have all the structures, we have all the policies, but nothing going on. And at least there is something going on. And this conference has helped us a lot. So as I summarize, the issue of MOUs, as I said, we are focusing on industry. We already have an MOU with KCIC. It was intentional. So anything you want to do with KCIC, it's the legal process. You can participate fully. Our MOU with Kenya National Chamber of Commerce is ready for signing. It's already at the office of the legal officer, and we're just waiting for the time for it to be signed. Why Kenya Chamber of Commerce? We have a lot of innovations that are static. We want them to be progressed. And so Kenya Chamber of Commerce are there, and it's unfortunate the director for industrial linkages partnerships, Professor Kitainge, is not here. I think all of you know that he's participating in the presidential, what do you call it, presidential education something, task force. At least him and Professor Somi are there, and they are very busy. They can only come here maybe over the weekends, and we know they're doing a national duty. But even though we are already working on these partnerships, so Kenya Chamber of Commerce and Industry, already we have an MOU. Each and every one of you can deal with them and come up. And normally when we get MOUs, each and every MOU has a committee. That committee has a chair and members who are supposed to, to bring all the members to participate in that space. Bwana Mongela, I think for you, an MOU should be done in within very, very short time. Can I give it a week? So we'll talk to Professor Kitainge, because we know exactly how you can benefit our young people. And not only young people, even these old people. I think at least the goodness with you, you did not give us the age bracket like somebody gave us an age bracket of 35 years. So these lecturers, we have a lot of innovations. In agriculture, when we have these innovation days and etc., we have a lot in engineering. We have a lot even in business. We have a lot in agriculture. We have a lot in natural resources, but they are static. Now this is the headache of Professor Lizzie Mwamburi. So Lizzie Mwamburi and the IPMO officer, we would like these things to move, and I'm happy that now the people we are working with already now know that there is that possibility. Coming to Chemelil, thank you so much, and I'm happy to see you here. I think this is the first lady who is leading a sugar industry. I think I've been with the sugar industry, I've never seen a manager of a sugar industry who is a lady. And I don't know how you're managing with Obanda people during the dry seasons, because they like burning your cane, particularly the, the nuclear, so that you run around. So it is an industry where we can do a lot. And let me tell you, at the university here, we have partnered with Chemelil some time back. I think during that time it was, I think there's some people we worked with. I had a project there on wastewater with some people from, my friends from Sweden, University of Linköping. So we were trying to work on that wastewater, but we were using this technology of constructed wetlands. So just next to the treatment center, we developed some units there, and it is still there. And we were able to produce a PhD from the University of Linköping, and here we produce some 2 MScs for this university, and some of the several BSc projects. But we have the information. And when I was told you are coming, I said, this is another MOU we can work on immediately, and I think members have already expressed. They are going to, the issue of briquettes are there, the bagasse issues, wastewater is there, the cane development, our agriculture people are there, and I was seated next to Ochuodo, Professor Ochuodo. And when you started talking about sugarcane, I heard his heart beating very loud. Because Ochuodo is doing a lot with sugarcane. Apart from that, he didn't just tell you, because you know, some of these Luo scientists are very shy and proud. Eh? He has an industry of making juice from sugarcane. When I talked to her, she said that belongs to the wife, but I know he's involved. So it is something that also, and that juice is very, 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 very nice. I think Professor Chudo, I'm marketing, so it means you go and tell your wife to give me at least 2 crates for marketing. But in short, what am I saying, ladies and gentlemen, including what Dr. Mwasi said, the block making machine. We have an opportunity there, and Madam, we are coming very soon. The issue of the mud, filter mud for fertilizer, we are coming. Already, we are working with it's not picked up yet, but with the agrochemicals industry. We also want to develop fertilizer from their mud. So I think we already have a team, and I'm sure the same team, we can visit you as quick as possible so that we can chart a way forward, how we can work together. So, Absa Bank, thank you so much also for everything that you have said. I'm sure we really have a lot to do together. When you talked about forestry, I think we had talked about this before. We have a tree nursery down here, which is being modernized, and we really want to use it to produce as much seedlings as possible. And it's a system that is already working. So please don't work with anybody else. If you do, I'm going to advise all the customers of Absa Bank to change to some other bank. Bring that money, and we have forestry here, and the forestry here is the first forestry that came from Nairobi University, the most mature forestry department, and we have also as an IGU, which is under that. So please, that one, I think we can also follow immediately so that we can move ahead. So ladies and gentlemen, I would just say that, please, there is this division of PRE. Visit this PRE division. Visit the Director of Research and Innovation. Visit the Director of Industrial Partnerships and Collaborations. There is a lot that is going on that we can benefit together, so that we can put money in our pockets and we can bring money to the university. You know that the universities have a problem of funding, of money. And since there is no money, we can get money from our brains and from this kind of innovations. I was in the National Innovation Week with the young people like this gentleman. We had almost, I don't know, Lizzie, how many were they? And all of them were CEOs. CEOs who are as young as him. Some of them don't even know how to wear a suit. But if they were telling you their worth, they were talking of billions, millions, and billions. Young innovators who were just from school like him. But here we have those innovations, and we are not moving. I think that is the way we want to go, and we really would like to have you to come most of the time, particularly to talk to our young people who have innovations. And Professor Mwamburi, please make sure you make an arrangement as quick as possible. All these people who have innovated, who have given us their innovations in our Innovation Week here, and even those who participated in the show and wherever, I think let's put them together so that they can have a serious talk. And from that serious talk, we go to Kenya, Absa Bank, or we go to Kenya Chamber of Commerce, so that we can see how we can link our young people. With those many remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request my senior brother if he can say one word, and then we can close so that we go for tea and lunch. Professor Wilson Ngetich. Prof, now that I've called your name, you must stand. I know you're a man of few words, you don't have many words like me. But just
started. Greetings.
Okay, that is, yeah, I think from there, Professor Mwamburi, we can give us direction.
Thank you so much once again. So I think everything has been said. I think we are going to break from here, but before we break, we are going to take a group picture, as usual, right here, and then we are going to go next door for tea. So kindly, we allow our guests and management to go first, and then we can follow. And we have to take the tea very fast.